Podcast is powered by Control. Control is a meal replacement and functional foods business whose mission is to improve the lifestyles of gamers and content creators by making them healthier. Their meal replacement shakes and meal on the go bars are the best tasting products in their category while also giving you all the protein, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients you need to keep you going. Check out drinkcontrol.com and try out the sample kits to see what all the hype is about.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 152. 152. Wow. Of the XboxEra podcast. I'm your host, Sik Mechanico, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Special Nick.
What's going on?
And in the background, as per usual, is the always quiet, humble, kind-hearted, hard-working.
Shut up, John. I was on Giant Bomb twice this week.
I know. Let's
Why,
talk about that
why
twice.
twice?
Because the first time he couldn't find anyone, and I'm his backup, Huckleberry. And the second time it was going to be Timur Hussein, but he was super busy with work. And so Jeff asked, and I said, sure.
Wow.
What else am I doing?
What time is it my time? Why haven't I been asked on to
2
the
or
game
3
list?
a.m.
To be fair as well, like Jesse has been a long time fan of Giant Bomb. Been in the chat, watches the show pretty often with Jeff, right? So very cool of Jeff to do that.
I'm always in the chat
I'm
for Last of
actually
the
a friend with
Nintendo
Jeff,
dogs
unlike
and
you.
stuff.
No, I know, but this like specifically for Giant Bomb. So it was nice to see that kind of rewarded to Jesse. It's not about you, Nick. It's not about you. Yeah, Jesse,
I'm always
Jesse
in their chat
deserves the
too.
glory. Deserves it. He works hard.
And should we mention, this podcast is now available in 1440p, so we will be a little slower on replying to people in chat, but it's going to look real nice.
Yeah. it looks
Why will we be
real
slower?
nice.
Because to get 1440p, you can't be in ultra low latency mode. You have to be in low latency. It's like 5 seconds instead of 3. It's not a big deal.
That sounds fair. That sounds fair.
Yeah, I've got the feed in 1440, but it's a 1080 monitor, so I'm not really.
You're not getting the
Getting-
extra sharp.
You're
fidelity.
downscaling.
Yeah, I'm not really taking full advantage of that higher resolution.
I'll tell you what though. Hey chat.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to chat. Hi chat. It's really nice to see you
Hi.
guys. See some good friends in the chat. We've got Britt. We got Kay. Asante's in there.
Yeah.
It's nice to see the fans, you know. But yeah, you had a good week. I mean, should we start off with the really bad news before we get into like normal news of the week? The really bad news, the worst news. And I'm genuine about this. This is like absolutely bummed me out reading this last night, and I'm sure it bummed.
Oh,
everybody
about
out.
Lance Reddick. Yeah, I
Man.
couldn't believe it.
Like I have just in preparation for John Wick 4.
He was only 60, and they're like natural causes. I'm like, what? He was 60,
right? I mean, he didn't even look 60 for one. Man, he was like stacked. But like, I just watched all of the John Wicks in prep for John Wick 4, and I was like, God, I love him in this. Like, I thought,
he's so good in it.
I was first introduced to him as an actor through Fringe. I know a lot of people watched The Wire first, but Fringe was my
I did not watch either of those. My first exposure to him was John Wick.
Oh, really? Wow. So,
Yeah.
have you heard him? Like, you've obviously heard him speak. Not because he puts an accent on for John Wick.
Correct.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, you probably be like,
he was in Quantum Break. He
Yes,
was in
yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn. He's in Destiny, big in Destiny.
Yeah.
Because he has a great voice as well.
Oh, it's so, like his voice it's like he's like chewing, like, oh man.
Yeah.
So super bummed. Heart goes out to his family and to those he's left behind, and obviously to all his fans and stuff. But like, he was on the press tour and he didn't go to like the premiere for John Wick.
He was apparently playing Destiny the night before he passed.
Yeah,
I'm like, but natural causes at 60? How is that even possible?
Could have been a massive, heart aorta just blew, and that's it. It's natural. It can just happen. Happened to my uncle Max when he passed away. He literally just opened a glass of red and he was like, took a sip and went, oh, and then that was it. He was just gone. He's like, poof, just
But
out.
do they count that as natural causes?
Yeah, man, yeah. But is it, it's crazy though. You're right. Like 60 is not old. Like my dad is 68.
it's
He's had a
not
couple of
old.
heart attacks, and I'm like, I'm looking around me like,
I'm only 17 years away from that. Like, that's not that far. Oh my god! I'm like, that's so young. Like,
yeah. But it's sad news. Sad
Jesus.
times. So
Yeah.
yeah. Rest in peace, Lance. You were
Yeah,
one of the
it's
good
terrible.
ones.
It's tragic.
Very much so. Very much so.
I feel like he would have been one of those rare actors who didn't have skeletons in the closet and wasn't a complete jerk off like most of them are. I feel like he would have been one of the genuinely good ones.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're probably right. Oh dear. Dear,
Yeah.
oh dear. But yes, anyway, what a week it's been. Have you been playing any video games, Nick?
I have one that I'm now apparently allowed to talk about the fact that
You
I've been
can give
playing.
your general impressions upon.
Yes, I can give my general impressions of Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. It's pretty. I think it's just about all I've played most of the week. Like I've been getting messages while I've been playing it because it doesn't show that you're playing it when you play it. You're just showing as being on home.
Yeah,
So-
that's when the club has not been turned on yet. So you can't see your achievements, you can't see your stats, and no one can tell that you're playing.
Yes, that's right. It says achievements aren't supported, but I've been unlocking them.
Yeah, you just cannot
And it's
look at
good
any of it
because-
until they flip that switch.
They're like all diamond achievements because like hardly anyone has played the game.
Almost
so every single
all of my
achievement is like,
achievements. It's the fun thing about doing a review is everything you get is a diamond.
Yeah. It's good. I'm how many hours in? I don't even know what I'm allowed to say. I'm like, I think I've sunk.
You just
Something
can't.
like-
You can say everything that's not a story spoiler, essentially. I sent you the list. They were so weird about it. Most
I
of
know
the
it was. It
reviews
was such
ignored
a. It was such an odd embargo.
things they talked
I
about
think
in
I-
the previews.
I think I've been playing it for about 10 hours or so, 10 or 12 hours up to chapter. Because I'm searching for everything. Like I find myself wasting a lot of time. I'm trying to get the collectibles. Obviously, you can't YouTube a guide. So I'm doing it straight raw on my own.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Having to actually play that video game, huh?
Yes. And I've already missed one collectible. And one of the achievements is to like get all the treasures in a single run or something. And I think I've missed one because I can't go back to a certain area. Or at least not yet, I think. But it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, aka Cargo Maru, he did the
Yes.
review for us here on XboxEra. And
I
Jesse,
can accept his score. It may
Yeah.
not be the score I would give it, but I'm okay with it.
it's so funny. Like he started off like he doesn't think Resident Evil 4 is the best game in the series, like by a long shot. Like
Neither
he
do
was
I.
quite open with that. But people
thought
were like,
5 was.
"Oh, I'm going to close the review if that's you." And he was like, he gave the game a 9 out of 10, guys. Like he really loved it. Like he's just got other preferences. But Capcom, my God, fellas, ladies, guys, that is a rough like set of stringent rules that you imposed upon the review process.
I call it echo chamber-itis, where if they don't hear exactly what they want to hear, they just bail.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, we've done a lot of reviews with a lot of publishers and PR teams and indie devs, and I have never seen such a bananas approach to coverage of a video game, especially a flipping remake.
It's a remake.
Like if this was
it's
some
not-
spoiler, keep it quiet, keep it on the down low. There's loads of surprises, kind of new thing, but it's not. It's a freaking remake of a game that's been remastered like a couple of times on different
Yes,
platforms.
but remember, it is a remake, so
I
it's
know,
not
so they've
one to
tweaked
one
it.
with the original Resident Evil 4. But it's well, I mean, look, until Resident Evil 2 remake came along, Resident Evil 5 was my favorite Resident Evil until 2 remake came along.
Resident Evil 5 had co-op, didn't it?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
so good.
I had the red Xbox 360 special edition.
So did I.
And that
So
was
did I.
the first Resident Evil game I'd played since Resident Evil 1 and 2 on the PS2 or PS1. I can't even remember now. What consoles were they on? And yeah, I don't like horror. And I've actually heard people say that Resident Evil 4 is not really a horror game. It's more like an action adventure. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Because you're a big Dead Space fan. You love the...
I think Dead Space is more horror-y than Resident Evil, but I also think Dead Space is the greatest Resident Evil game ever made. Like, if I was going to pick between Dead Space Remake and Resident Evil 4 Remake, as fantastic as they both are, I would take Dead Space Remake, personally.
Fair.
But again, don't do the whole internet thing where, oh, so you're saying Resident Evil 4 sucks. No, they're both fantastic. I just think Dead Space is a little bit better. And yes, Brit, I've been skipping all of the cutscenes. I've even been skipping those little communication things that pop up. I don't know what's happening. I'm just skipping
Special
on
Nick,
through.
everyone.
I don't care. I don't care about the story. Just let me find stuff and shoot zombies.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying it a lot.
Good.
It's really, really good. Like I said, would I give it a 9? Probably not. But I can get on board with 9. Had Mike gone with 10, we may have had words.
Had conversations.
Well, you're going to have words with half the gaming industry because they mostly
just
gave
showered
it
it with 10s.
I know. I saw they showered it with 10s. But again, like, I was expecting that. I was expecting that to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think I personally don't think it's a 10. I mean, I don't know if again, fantastic game, but I prefer to use the full 10-point scale. So even an 8 out of 10 to me is a really, really good score for a game. Yeah. I'm not saying I'd give Resident Evil an 8. I'd probably be somewhere between 8 and 9, floating. I still need to play it some more, but right now I'm floating in that range. But for me, 8's very good. Visually, it's nice. I'm very interested to see Digital Foundry's dingos.
Take?
Yeah, because that Elanista bits or whatever it's called, somehow they came to the conclusion that the PS5 version ran at slightly higher res, and like everyone that's played the demo was like, that doesn't seem like even the unofficial PlayStation forum, even the people in there were like, pretty sure the Xbox version is higher res. Like it looks visibly sharper.
Yeah, but the Xbox version does seem to suffer from this dead zone issue, which was there in the demo, and it's followed along for the retail release. It was there on
Resident Evil 8. It was there on Resident Evil 8. It's this weird dead zone thing. And I think I said it last week on our show. The PS5 version of the demo felt better to play because it didn't have the dead zone issue. The Xbox version looked nicer. In terms of frame rate, I've got a VRR TV, so maybe I didn't see frame rate issues on either version because my TV is VRR. So yeah, all I noticed was that the PS5 version looked blurrier, softer, and apparently that's got something to do with the chromatic aberration breaking something on PS5. But the dead zone thing, for anyone watching, for anyone who cares, for anyone who's been bothered, my personal quote unquote fix for the dead zone issue on Xbox, well, I was doing so much tweaking. The only thing I found that makes it workable, that makes it pretty playable, turn your max speed quite a lot down, but your acceleration right up. So get that balance where the acceleration is higher than the max speed, and that seems to make it Still probably not as good as it feels on PS5, but at least it makes it way more playable than just the stock default, which feels horrible.
Yeah. Do you
Not
want to know?
laggy. I keep
do you-
saying the word laggy. It's not laggy. It's hard to explain. It's just, it's
Doesn't
off.
feel right.
Like there's-
It's like Perfect
Yeah,
Dark Zero on Xbox 360.
Kind
The
of.
aiming is just off. The chat is
Kind of.
making me laugh right now because I know you've been playing Resident Evil 4, and we'll get to some of the stuff Jesse's been playing in a sec. But Kay Asante wanted to know in the chat. It was like, oh, Nick, what's a 10 for you? And
Super Mario Odyssey.
before we get you going, Jesse already kindly replied and said Super Mario Odyssey. And do you want to know what's funny? So I recently got very, 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 very seriously addicted to Smash Brothers. I may have traded in some old physical games to CEX today while I was in town. I took the kids to mini golf. It's really good fun. And my little boy came up to me with a copy of Super Mario Odyssey in hand.
Oh,
and he said, Dad, and it was like 38 quid pre-owned. Nintendo with your evergreen prices. Yeah, but I'd got a bunch of trade-in, so I was like, oh, go on then, mate. Go on. I've heard it's the best video game ever made, according to
it is. It's just perfection. It's just
Special
perfect.
Nick. So
it's a perfect video game.
And an extra GameCube controller, because those things are indestructible, and that is what you play Smash on. Yeah, it's good times. So I will be playing a little bit of Super Mario Odyssey. And I'll let you know.
You will be. You haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it yet. Like
mate.
We entertained.
I would give anything to Men in Black myself and play Super Mario Odyssey for the first time again. Oh my god, that game! Like I think about it,
it's
just
so
like
boring.
It's
really
such
well
a
made.
perfect game. It is such a perfect game. It's so
perfectly
amazing.
safe and boring.
We'll see. But hey, I haven't actually been playing. I'm trying to stop him, chat. I'm trying to stop him.
Once you've been hopping around on Cappy and you throw the hat, you flick the hat like a card, and then you jump out onto the hat and then jump onto the next thing and then slide off that wall and jump. Oh my god, it's so good.
It's mechanically very well made, but as everything else around it is just boring. Unbelievably so.
It's so good. And it's
painful.
Beautiful.
I'm trying to rein the conversation back in before we get lost on in Super Mario Odyssey land. We've been here before. We don't want to go back.
I want to play it now. I'm going to pull my Switch out and play it right now while we're on air. It's going to play Super Mario Odyssey.
As well as that, in refining, playing a lot of Season 3 of Halo Infinite.
Yes, me too.
You know what?
What?
I hate Chasm as a map. I think it is.
Remind me.
It's the blue Forerunner-y one.
Oh yeah, God, that map sucks.
With all the float, I'm just not a fan. It feels to me like just whack a few Commodores in there, put some spawns in, and we're done. It doesn't feel like they've thought about jumps and stuff and for some cool tricks and things. And it is very much a social map, so like I don't care. I'm not going to see it in ranked. I really, really like Cliffhanger. Like it's a really fun map, but I absolutely adore. And I don't really like BTB that much, but if I have to play BTB, Oasis is the best BTB map that 343 have made. It looks gorgeous. It plays really well. It's really well thought out. And I've had a real good time, even in BTB, playing on that map. Yeah, so aside from that, that's pretty much it. It's been a very quiet week for me. But Jesse, you've been playing some interesting things. You did a recent preview of a dinosaur game that chose a real bad weekend to do a beta.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst weekend simply because this one's open and Diablo's not. But yes, I played a whole bunch of Exoprimal early, a few days before everyone else was able to, thanks to our contacts with Capcom PR. Thanks. Oh my god.
Thanks, Capcom.
This game. Yeah, this game is real weird. It's not what I thought. It's not a story game. It is an online match game where it's mostly PvE, but at certain points of each match or at the very end of matches, if it's close, there is PvP. So it's a 5v5 PvE with occasional VP. So PvP, PvPvE, but mostly PvE. And you just blast the shit out of dinosaurs nonstop. It's weird, Nick. It's not. I've never played something like it. It has player versus player, and there's going to be modes
Is the
that are all about
performance
that.
really as good as it seems
Yes,
for a
it's crazy.
game that's
There were-
throwing so much stuff at the screen?
There's one scene where there were thousands of raptors coming at us. There was this giant, it's this enormous ball in the sky that's just raining dinosaurs all the time. And in this one, it was literally
what a bonkers
raining.
concept.
Mighty
So-
Keith tweeted it. I
Yep.
saw that Mighty Keith dude. He tweeted a shot, and you see all these raptors just drop from the
Mhm.
sky, and there was no frame rate drop. It just
No.
kept going.
And it
I'm like,
looks
how's this possible?
solid. So like the player models, the dinosaur models all look really good. The environments are okay. Like some of the floor and texture stuff's pretty basic. It's really, really fun. You
Can I talk about our friend that we got in as well?
Ah, yes, we got in Jaw Muncher. Like two.
Yeah,
or
we
three
got
you might
Jaw
know.
Muncher in to play it because the big Dino
Dinosaurs.
Crisis fan. So we got Jaw Muncher in to play Exoprimal. We'll have to get his thoughts on it.
Mm.
But yeah, it looks
funny if you never
looks
even played it.
bonkers.
It is.
looks
I think it's a
bonkers.
perfect Game Pass game because as a multiplayer focused thing, at $60, it's gonna
That's dead
struggle
in the
real
water,
hard.
isn't it?
Yeah, but it's also then people get to try it on Game Pass and realize, oh, this is actually really well made and a lot of fun.
That's
Yeah,
I think
interesting.
there's 10 different characters. 4 of them are DPS, 3 are tanks, 3 are healers. So it's Overwatchy, team hero shooter like. Everyone's got their own guns, they've
role
got
to
their own
play.
abilities, they've got their own ultimates that you build up. I ended up playing a ton of this friggin' fire guy. But yeah, this is the intro for it. Like it feels like a game pulled out of time, which is its concept essentially, with this super powerful AI grabbing all these dinosaurs from throughout history to essentially make you fight for
my
his
God,
enjoyment.
for a sec I thought that was an ad.
I know,
I
it's
thought
really,
that was
this,
an
is
ad.
this is the opening cinematic, and this is the dino storms that are coming.
The dino
the news.
storms. I
Yeah.
mean, my God.
It's
But
such
I
a
like
weird
that sort of
thing.
stuff. It's video games. Let it
I
be
love the
Here
video
it is,
games
Nick.
to do it.
You're gonna see it. Here it is. This is that giant ball where thousands of raptors are falling, and then they all come. And it's unbelievably hard to
Oh
kill.
my God.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And
it
look at
did not
that.
drop for
It's
me on
not
my
slowing
VRR.
down.
No,
The game's
and we're
not slowing
doing all
down.
our moves, and yeah, it's knuckin' futz, man.
That's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's definitely made me want to say to the lads, like, hey, let's give this a download and have a laugh.
I wouldn't mind just
really
giving
fun.
it a crack.
Yeah.
So we only got to play one mode, the main mode, which is this Dino Survival, on limited maps and with limited mission types. So essentially, you're just going. Each team of 5 is trying to finish a series of missions faster than the other one. During that time, the PvP part is you can become a dinosaur and go attack the other team. Or at the very end, you're all finally in the same area and you can blast the shit out of each other. Other than that, it's just
Wow.
always going against dinosaurs. And if you notice, I keep forgetting to put the goddamn green screen things in there. Every time. I just leave it a blank green square lately on our YouTube channel.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Good one.
Hey, I heard you bumped into another a really world famous, does brilliant
Multiple.
thumbnails
Yeah.
YouTuber in there. And
So I don't know if you noticed the very first match, Jez was my main tank as I was healing him. And then in later matches, I fought big YouTube stream or Twitch streamers like Bruce Green and also Dreamcast guy. Played him twice.
Did you win against Dreamcast guy?
We absolutely creamed him. Yes.
Oh, I bet he didn't like the game because of that.
No, he's very negative about it.
Oh, go figure. Well, when you get wrecked by the best, like Jesse's like, yeah. But hey, chat's brought up some interesting questions. They were asking if we could play as dinos. We answered that. But the most interesting question here is, hey, if we want you guys to talk about Capcom, ABK news, do they have to hit the like button? And well, guess what? Yeah, you do. What are we looking at right now? A mere 47 likes. There's nearly 200 people watching right now. 47? What is
I'm
this?
disgusted.
Those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up.
Need to get those numbers up. I keep having to pause to clear my throat, which I've been doing like all weekend.
Can I recommend that I've downloaded this wonderful little app and it's called Mic Mute because the button for the mute is here on you've got the same mic as me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got this wonderful little button and I assign a hotkey. It's a free app and I just literally hit my dot and then I can unmute and so on. And it's like anytime I want to cough or take a sip of drink.
Well,
or
I can just go Command D. Watch.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's
Now you can hear me talk. So yeah, I just have to go
yeah.
Command D. That's fine.
Fair enough.
But yeah, my throat. So I don't know if good old Collingwood is watching. I don't know if he went to the football, but I was at the football Friday night going off my rocker. So lost my throat a little bit, lost my voice a little bit because Collingwood beat the reigning premier from last year, as I knew we would, as I predicted we would. So it was very enjoyable. Hey, Tom Henderson's in the chat. You need a USB foot pedal. Well, how about you buy me one, Tom? Get off your ass.
Holy shit. I literally just was typing, don't say that at Tom Henderson. He'll ask you to buy him one. You are a predictable man, Nick. You're a predictable fucking cheapskate motherfucker. Literally, as you said it.
You're still probably going to try and get Hargy-Chani to buy you Resident Evil 4, even though you
no one needs to buy Nick anything. If you want to buy him something, contribute to his flight.
Because remember, understand something, okay? All your currencies are so much stronger than ours. So when you guys buy me stuff, for you, it's all cheap. But I'm very appreciative because in my currency, it's all super expensive. So for me to buy Resident Evil 4, it's like $100. For you guys to buy it for me, it's like $50. It's like nothing. Wow. It's like nothing.
I'll teach you. Well, that's the price you pay for living in the best country in the world with the best coffee in the world.
That is the price. That is the price I pay.
In the world.
That's right. Oh, Melbourne doesn't have the best. Melbourne certainly does not have the best weather in the world. Melbourne is where you come if you want to experience the most schizophrenic weather on the planet.
Tom. Way too much.
Oh, bless Tom.
Tom Henderson with a £20 super chat. This converts to about 800 Australian dollars, right?
I like it when Tom Henderson's in the chat on a Saturday night because he's probably got some whiskey in hand. He's probably a bit frivolous with his wallet.
Tom is pissed as a fart right now. 100%.
The glass is tinkling.
Yeah, the whiskey glass is there and he's smashed. I was watching him play Front Lines, which is the COD Roblox.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. It's quite impressive.
Oh my
for
God.
someone making
It's
that
COD.
in Roblox.
It's just COD 4. It's COD 4.
It's mental, isn't it?
I'm like, how is this Roblox? It looks just like COD 4. It's full-blown Roblox. So I started playing it on my Mac. It was real fun.
It's always nice to have a little blast from the past, play some old school games.
Microsoft should bring it up in the APK deal. So Roblox is huge.
They've replicated.
Free, and they've got COD right there on Roblox. Yeah, Tom with another £20. Yeah, I'm pissed. I told you he'd be pissed as a fart. He would be off his rocker right now.
Christ alive.
100%.
Oh dear. But yeah, like I mentioned before we started talking about Exoprimal, that they chose a bad weekend to have a beta. As Jesse pointed out, hey, it's open. There is a closed beta, pre-order access only going right now, which is for Diablo 4. And I have to pause for a moment before we actually talk about Diablo 4. Uh-oh. What I really want to talk about is In Exile's Twitter account. Because In Exile's Twitter account, and did you know Diablo means devil in Spanish video?
I saw that. I'm surprised. I'm so shocked no one has made the jokes about In Exile saying, oh, no wonder no new games have come from In Exile. They're so busy mucking around on Twitter. I am shocked I haven't seen those jokes going around.
The funny thing is they've seriously got a really good sense of humor, right? But then I also saw a 343 community team TikTok, and it was funny because I cringed myself to death.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Like I was like, I felt the pain of having to pretend and act that out and remember the lines. It was just, whereas the In Exile ones, they put some serious production value in. Those guys are,
they're full on.
Fucking legends.
I think I saw that 343 one that you're talking about.
It was not good. I love those guys. Like I've met a lot of those guys. They're really nice people. But
it's not a knock on them as humans. I'm just saying that TikTok was Yeah.
But you know, that's what you got to do nowadays to be in with the kids or something. But yeah, Diablo 4, Jesse. I think I don't know if you've had a chance to play it. I didn't pre-order it and I haven't got a
I
code,
have
so I haven't tried
finished it. I have also I've played all 3 of the. Yeah, I'm doing an impression video, so I played the shit out of it. You know me.
Yeah,
and my playing things. It is
somehow you
it looks
insert 48 hours
It
into
looks-
a 24-hour
It
day.
looks very nice. It looks.
I was
very
going
nice.
to play some of my footage that I have. It my computer was not happy when I tried loading a 4K video while doing all this, so I'm playing someone else's PlayStation footage. We finally got a thank you, Jez. We finally got a Blizzard PR contact, so that's how I was able to get into this one.
Did we?
They sent us, yeah, they sent me a code.
Thanks, Jez.
Yeah, he pointed me in the right direction of which PR agency they use in the US. So, praise Jesus. So you can expect Blizzard.
Praise
reviews in the
Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
Courtgeist. Yeah, so this is everyone's like, oh, this is way more like Diablo 2 than it was Diablo 3. And it's like it looks and feels more like Diablo 2, while playing like Diablo 3 and Diablo Immortal are pared back just a little bit to be more D2-ish. But the actual setup of everything, the way the inventories work, with the fact that you can respec, it's all very Diablo Immortal, which people, I think should have been ready for with the open world. You're just always around a ton of other people, carrying on the Destiny 2 torch of having world events and all these different things.
Yeah.
But with really excellent, well-balanced, fun Diablo gameplay in a dark, brooding, just muted world. And I think a lot of people look at Diablo 3 and it's very colorful and vibrant and bright. And they want to go back to this styling from the first and second games, and they've nailed it really well. If they hit the grind, if they hit the end game, if there's enough variety and the story holds up, and it's been very good. Not that Nick will ever know because you can skip the cutscenes. I could see this reviewing unbelievably well and being one of by far the biggest games of the year. It is excellent.
Visually, in terms of art style, it's hugely different from 3.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing that went back to 2. Also, they pull in the camera a lot. Like actually pull it in and they're just down there full on right up doing cinematic cutscenes in engine, and it looks fantastic.
Wow.
Looks great. I can't wait for it to
I
come.
wonder if I can find one of those in this footage. Boy, they look good.
It's one of those games I really want to get a really good group of
Pass.
friends. What's the highest number of players co-op you can do? 4?
I don't know. I think a group is probably 4, but in the open world, there's like 10, 15 people at once. So I don't know what a group can be.
That's interesting.
I'm going to guess 4. It looks like it can fit 3 to 4 in the social
I like
media.
3. I haven't beat 3, but I like 3, so I'll probably like 4.
God damn it. Can't find any. Come on, give me a cutscene.
Nick's in the chat says, I believe it's 8 players. 8 player.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's meant to be really big.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
It's the kind of thing I'd be
scales.
like, right, let's just all play for like a couple of weekends, like just having fun. I mean, it's definitely something I'd love to really get stuck into.
This game is going to pull thousands of people out of thousands of hours out of people's lives.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting though, right? Because there was lots of talk, and I think Rod Ferguson commented and said, "Nope, no plans to come to Game Pass or anything like that.
No plans. Which is code for not right now.
Not until we're told when a certain thingy completes." But yeah, they really have pulled in the angle there. And those character models still hold up. That's really good. Oh,
They've got
no plans while we're still independent of Microsoft.
Yeah.
But as soon as that deal goes through, guess where it's going to be? Guess where Diablo is going to be?
Like, look, this is an in-engine cutscene. This isn't CGI.
Doesn't look
like
CGI.
This is what, like these are all, and it just does this all the time in most areas.
Sorry. See, I'm on delay. Okay.
Yeah. So this is in-engine, not a CGI. It just goes down to 30 FPS, ups all the settings, and looks ridiculously good.
Wow. Kind of like a photo mode, because that's what photo mode does. You turn off the AI, you turn off the physics, you turn off everything, and all of a sudden the game looks so much nicer.
Funny how game engines work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks really good. And it looks, Diablo fans certainly seem very, very happy.
It's enormous. You can tell even from this very locked off 3 to 4 hour long beta, depending on if you go and do a bunch of world stuff or not. It's enormous. I think they've said something like, I don't remember, it was 500 or 900 different dungeons in the game. It was some ridiculous number. And I've been going through them, and they can be like a half an hour to an hour long every time. You can reset them, redo them. Like it's real good.
It
Yeah,
looks
well,
good.
It looks like this year is going to be as bonkers as everyone thought it was going to be in terms of games coming out that just suck
get
into
close.
life. Tom Henderson in the chat goes down to 30 FPS. That's why you need the Series XL. Am I right?
Maybe that's
we
something
know,
to talk about.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
I know
of
it's not in the show
conversation
notes, but
about mid-gen upgrades, isn't it? Mid-gen upgrades. Do we need them this time? Are they coming? And it's interesting, and I don't want to particularly refer to the ABK stuff, particularly like until we're talking about it in depth. But you know, there was some comment in redacted comment about the FTC complaining or that they were missing some documents that Microsoft sent them for their lawsuit. But something was referenced in there around Microsoft's next gen plans. Whatever console hardware they're cooking up next. I mean, that's if that's coming, then it's already in development. I just really hope that the Series S XL or whatever the frick it's going to be called is a handheld.
I don't know.
What I would give.
I was one of those people that originally thought we didn't need mid-gen upgrades, but I'm not so sure anymore. Like, we have cross-gen games, right? Cross-gen games like Resident Evil 4 that aren't native 4K and are locked 60. Maybe we do need them. Maybe we do.
I think the reality is that people really like playing games at that kind of high frame rate, high fidelity, right? And
that's right.
As we're leaving, like, I think the key difference is because of the pandemic, because of supply issues, particularly with PS4, that additional amount of time that was dragged out was elongated more than perhaps either publisher would have or party platform holder would have liked. Microsoft were a little bit more clear cut about it because the Xbox One was just a noose at this point. It was so poor. But for PlayStation, they were like, oh, shit, we've got like 100 million customers. We need to keep supporting them to make any money. So that's dragged down a little bit. But both now, like, I think Horizon Forbidden West's DLC is exclusive to PS5, like whatever add-on it's getting. So I think there's definitely decisions now being made, like, yep, the cutoff's here. But then as these consoles die off, I was hoping that we'd see more optimization, more of the ability to run at 60. But instead, what I think is going to happen is they're no longer having to account for that lowest common denominator, the Xbox One, the PS4. And instead, they're pushing all the other bells and whistles. And then we're falling back into the trap of 30 FPS. And I just...
My thing is,
can't go back.
I don't know if Xbox necessarily needs it per se. But the context around that is it doesn't seem like developers are bothering to utilize everything the Xbox can do. So
why do you think that might be?
In a way, and I don't know how you phrase this without it sounding inflammatory, but it almost sounds like the Series X is being hamstrung, not by the Series S, but by the PS5. Almost.
It's being hamstrung.
I don't mean it the way that sounds. Like
No. That's exactly would have been my point. I think with the market share being the way it is, if you're any developer releasing a AAA game,
the PS5 is the lead
where the
platform.
Largest slice of the pie is.
That's right. So
did you see the Resident Evil 4 review breakdown where it's 95 reviews on Metacritic for PlayStation 5 and 18 for Xbox?
And that's what I mean. So, and Sony made their development environment much better than Microsoft's. So the PS5 is being exploited probably closer to its potential. The Xbox isn't. So the Xbox under normal circumstances where devs were utilizing the entire thing probably wouldn't need a mid-gen upgrade. But within the context of how things are going, maybe it does to, I guess, brute force what it normally wouldn't need to have brute forced. If that makes sense.
It's a real conundrum, right? Because if I were Microsoft, they've introduced the Series S straight out the gate, right? And that's it. The Series S will always be there for the whole generation until the next console platform is launched, right? That's it. So it doesn't matter what new console they release. But the problem they have is the Sony side of the camp. If the Sony team were to release a PlayStation 5 XL or whatever the hell, I can't imagine that thing getting any bigger. But if they were to release a Pro model, in my opinion, one, they can easily do it because I think there is such a rabid fan base for PlayStation that they would just lap it up and tell you that it's worth it.
100% they would.
Right. Whereas I think Microsoft are in a real tricky point because, yes, there are that contingent for them on the Xbox side of things, but it's nowhere near as large. But then you've got that problem we talked about before about who's the lead platform. And well, okay, thanks, Microsoft. Now I've got 3 console variants to rock along with, right? Like, where do I go with this? And they might not see any returns apart from their first party. So it's a tricky one. I think they'll have to maybe keep in mind what PlayStation may or may not do. And as we know, Tom Henderson has shared some details of what he's heard.
About a
Go
Pro.
check out Insider Gaming around the PS5's Pro model. But man, it's a tricky catch-22, I think, for Microsoft.
I reckon we will get them. I reckon we'll get them in 2025.
Yeah.
That's just my guess. I reckon 2025 is when we start getting that.
Would you
kind of
buy
stuff.
one like a Series XL?
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Yeah, I would too. And that's the depressing thing. I priced up a new rig. I was just like, oh my God, my PC's 3 years old this year. Ooh, that's getting on. And after I clicked a few buttons, I wasn't looking at price. I was just looking at what I would like. £4,500. I was like,
pounds.
No! Yeah,
although I'm an idiot, like I say that,
grand.
and we basically just paid that for my wife's Mac Studio.
And the reality, John, is the only thing you would really notice and get an upgrade from for what we do is the GPU. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
The thing is, I was looking at my. I don't think. I mean, it's a pretty big case, but I don't think it would fit a 4090 in there. And I'm just like,
unless you're pushing ray tracing, the 7900 XTX would be just fine.
Yeah, it was like $2,000 for a 4090. I'm just
you can get 900 to $1,000 generally. So
I might. It might be something I'll do or think about doing maybe towards the end of the year. But right now, like I play some Halo Infinite on PC, and my monitor, it's only a 1080p, but it's a super ultra wide. So it's like 3840 by 1080. And I tried to push it. It's got 120, 144 hertz modes, and I tried to push 120, and I had to turn a lot of settings like from high down to like medium on my RTX 2070 Super, and I was just like, ugh. So I don't know. It's one of those things.
First world problem thing I've ever heard.
I had to go from high to medium.
It's got a high settings to medium, like a peasant.
7900 XTX, you will be fine. Trust me. It'll fit. It's half the price.
Disgusting.
It did make me feel a bit ill, I have to admit.
I was this close to go to the emergency room.
The NVIDIA 40 series is overpriced as all hell.
Yeah. You just see 24 gig and you think, oh, that's going to last me a while. And then you're like, wait. No, it's not. But yeah, there you go. There's a little tangent around next generation hardware.
I don't know. We do have a giveaway if you want to do it. If you want to finalize,
I do. I'd love to give things away, Jesse, but I can't. Not when there's only 82 likes. 82 likes on this podcast
out of nearly 240 watching.
I mean, that you want to talk about disgusting, Nick? That's sickening to me.
That's not even medium settings.
That makes me want to just be like. Just nope out like that and just like, I'm not going to, maybe people would prefer that. That's the thing. If you want me to come back, hit like. If you don't, then I'm just going to stay as a black screen for the rest of the show. maybe we'll get no likes and we'll find out people are really glad not to have to see.
They just get to see. They just get to see this.
And then I'll
very
feel
attractive
really, really
thing
sad.
all the time.
Yeah, if you want to boost
Yeah.
Nick's ego, don't hit like.
Don't hit like, just leave everything as is, and I'll just sit here looking pretty. I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay
Wow,
with
they're
that.
really not hitting like, man. My I really needed the boost today, guys.
I'm very attractive, so I understand. I get it.
My feelings are really hurt right now. Like I expected this to skyrocket up, and I'm so wounded. I'm so
Don't worry.
wounded.
It's even gone down. I just saw it go from 94
I saw it
to
go down.
93.
Fuck these guys. I quit. I quit this show. I'm out of here.
Oh,
Just gonna- that's it. Congratulations, chat. You're just going to have to listen to Nick talk about Mario Odyssey, Melbourne, and repeat
Yeah.
himself every point he
But
makes.
people,
Now, that's it.
here's
I'm
the thing.
protest.
People don't actually even know what I'm talking about. They're so distracted by what they're looking at. They don't actually know what I'm even talking about. I can say whatever. I can just say whatever, and it won't matter. No one will notice a thing. They're just completely bewildered. They're bedazzled. They're just, yeah, it is what it is. There's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, well, congrats, bro. Yeah, you're the host now. Yeah, I'm just,
I've hosted before.
yeah.
You
I know.
think
they just
Clearly,
might
you're
really
better
like
at it. Yeah,
dancing
clearly, you're what
dogs.
the people want. I'm just a set of dancing dogs.
That's why I'm surprised I wasn't on Game Mess. Because, you know, that's what
ego of
happens.
This man.
It's eating Nick up inside that I've been on twice and he hasn't been on once.
Hey, I was on
Giant
Jeopardy.
bomb.
I was on
You-
Jeopardy, and that's like
Really?
their second highest viewed episode of Game Mess Jeopardy. The only
How much
dude
it-
that beat
how
me
many
was
does
the
it have?
guy from MinMax. This dude from MinMax that was on. Hadn't heard of MinMax.
How many
before.
views did it have?
I can't remember, but it's the second highest.
Hmm.
And that's because I make a Chris Pratt face. I look like not Chris Pratt, Chris Evans. The thumbnail that Sean did was a really funny thumbnail where Jeff and I are like pissing ourselves laughing. And I'm like just laughing my head off. And then someone took a screenshot of that, placed it next to Chris Evans, and it looks almost exactly the same as that Chris Evans meme where he's laughing. We got to 102 likes, John. There you go. 102 likes. You can come
I'm
back
not-
down.
Not happy, chat. I am not happy. I am hurt. Anyway, High on Life. The
Hey,
surprising.
we were doing the giveaway.
No, are we?
Yes.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, then we'll do the giveaway.
I've had the tweet up forever. I don't want to freaking
Okay.
accidentally
All
mess it
right,
up and
go
have
on
to
then.
rewrite the whole thing. Come on.
Go on then. We were
right.
giving away a copy of 2K
WWE2K Icon Edition, the $120 version.
With
Yeah.
the invisible person on the cover.
I don't
There's
see
like no one on the
there.
cover, isn't it?
Yeah, I made that joke with Grub and we both got real sad.
Oh, really? Did you make?
my good friend
Yeah, but
Grub.
when I make those jokes, it's funnier.
No, he just laughs out of pity.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
right,
we've
the
got
winner
we've
is
got a winner.
Who's the winner?
Boom. There it went out. That's it. I'm not even going to say who it was. It's Kevin Korkenstein Sanchez, one of the moderators of the Xbox Series X Reddit.
Oh wow, cool.
Yep.
Lucky him.
He came up in the Twitter picker. Congratulations. You're the winner.
Wow. Boom. Look at that.
Another game I reviewed. It's all right.
Yeah, there is a review out
John
there. It did very well because you were one of the only people that played it through the weekend
Mhm.
and got a review video done and dusted. It did something crazy, like for us, like 18,000 views or something.
Yeah, it's like 18. It broke 18, which was very surprising because it has a decent amount of reviews, but they were mostly just text because actual websites weren't going to make their guys work all weekend and have something out for you get the code late Friday night, and then the embargo was Monday morning. High on Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Works well for us.
What a great segue, because High on Life teased some new DLC coming the way.
Yeah.
They had Knifey voice.
High on knife.
Oh, yes. Come on, Nick, you're the Australian.
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it yet. I got to watch it.
Oh, and Knifey's Australian, so he's like, oh,
No,
yes.
I know.
fucking yes.
But I haven't heard the was there a trailer?
Yeah, there was just a little, they just said High on Knife, and he's like, this is what I've been waiting for. It's just But well, they're certainly not going to be getting Justin Roiland back to do like a whatever his gun was called, tease.
The main gun, wasn't he? The main
I
gun.
can't remember his name.
And
now.
half the NPCs, yeah.
Yeah.
Neither can
So, But I'm glad people aren't holding that team like under the knife. I guess
But
like
they shouldn't.
But
Why should
this is
they?
the internet, and people are horrible. Human beings are horrible. Oh, you knew that person. You're associated.
Like
Death
I
to the
could
brand.
understand. I will say, however, if the majority of the team were aware of his co-curricular activities, then I could understand some people going, well, hold on a second, you all knew about this and you just were like, whatever. That I could understand, but I'm working off the assumption that they all had no idea.
Yeah, I don't
they
think
were
anyone had any idea, right? The charges
And they were
were
just
from, like,
developing a
2020.
game under his studio. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
I wonder if
calm
he
down.
still gets cash from sales and stuff, though, right? Because he founded it, so I presume he's.
I don't know. I assume it's part of the deal of him going. I assume they cut that off, but I don't know.
Yeah,
No Shadowblade. I don't have the Resident Evil Fortnite skin for Leon and Claire yet. I haven't jumped into Fortnite since I've been playing.
He
Resident
needs someone
Evil
to buy
4.
it for him.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
I've got
don't.
quite a few V-Bucks. I think I've got quite a few V-Bucks. I could probably just grab it.
No one buying anything anymore.
Because when I bought the Dead Space Fortnite skin, it came with all these quests that give you like 500 V-Bucks each time you do one. So I ended up racking up all these V-Bucks. So, yeah, I'll probably get them. I'll see how I feel.
What else happened this week? Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo is finally coming out.
Yeah. In another one of those marketing deals where they couldn't even say it existed on Xbox until, boop, there it is. It's on Xbox now.
Well, a month before.
Yeah.
You'd
But it's
think
coming out
all
with a
this-
load of extra bits and pieces,
Yes.
right?
Kind of like
And-
how Sifu is the Arenas update with the Xbox version. It seems like a similar thing.
Yeah. And Bethesda did the same thing with Deathloop, right? There was a bunch of extra bits that launched and updated on the PlayStation at the same time. Isn't that nice of Microsoft to like still support the games that are on PlayStation?
You'd think that with all this ABK stuff going on, Sony would have played it a bit smarter and said, hey, if you guys want to talk about Ghostwire Tokyo a little bit earlier.
Nah, because
Go for it.
Microsoft honor their contracts, man. They honor them to the letter.
Go for it. I'm saying Sony. I'm saying if Sony were a little bit cleverer, they would have been like, hey, if you guys want to talk about Ghostwire a bit earlier, I mean, everyone knows it's coming anyway. So if you guys want to talk about it a bit earlier, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Well, you see a little creature that's on the screen right now, the Tanuki? That might have been what gave us COVID. That just came out.
The raccoon.
Yep. I think
Really?
they've sourced it. Either of you guys play this game? I'm going to guess no. It was only
Ghostwire Tokyo. No.
I did.
Not.
Once again, I played something. I played it on PC, streamed it on our Twitch channel. It's good. I liked it quite a bit. It's very much a map game. The gameplay's fun. The story's very interesting. Yes, it is a map game, Nick. It's about going around the map and doing objectives. You don't have to. You can just go point to point and ignore the map if you want. But if you actually like video games and playing them like I do, the map's great because maps are fun to clear out. It's a really good recreation of Japan from what people who have been there have said. Like, it's a loving recreation of that space. So I had a lot of fun going around it and finding upgrades and going through side stories. But if you just want to do the main story, it's not super long. So you can enjoy it that way.
I wonder if Harmonica will probably pick that up. He's been to Japan.
Yeah, he's
times.
asked
a
if
big
he
fan.
can, if we get enough time from Bethesda PR. As long as we get the game early enough, then he will be doing a review for us. Otherwise, I'll pop one out since I've already beaten it.
Yeah, fair. Fingers crossed for time. We always love time.
It looks
We
nice.
never have it.
It looks okay. What else? Redfall got a new trailer, story trailer. I have to admit, it was a really good story trailer. Like, I think they did a good job of selling what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to be doing it. It just makes me, I've seen enough of Redfall now that I'm just like, yep, I really want to play this. I think all of the previews that everyone got invited to and we didn't
They had like freaking 10 of them.
are coming out on the 22nd. So what's that? Tuesday next week?
I'm like, all right.
So does that mean my thumbnail can be used next week?
Yeah, we can use your
Yes.
salty about Redfall.
Such a good thumbnail. I put so much effort into that.
Yeah, it's good, mate. We should
If
be
you hear me
proud.
struggling,
Sleep.
my cat is trying to sleep on my fucking stream deck. She's just trying to sleep on it. Drag me nuts. I'm fighting her.
Love your cats. Cats are awesome. But yeah, like Redfall, I know I'm going to really enjoy this. Enjoy playing this with friends. You know,
I
taking
hope
on
so.
everything.
I
just
hope
hope they
enjoy
nail
it.
the shooting, because that's the one thing the story trailer had me a little bit worried.
You're watching devs play. It's always
I
tough when you're watching
know.
devs play.
So I'm looking forward to hearing about the shooting from actual gamers that went and played it.
I'll definitely give it a go, and I hope I enjoy it. I hope I enjoy it.
It's a
I
map
want to
game,
know
Nick.
where the hell Party Animals is. We're
Summer,
in
mate.
March.
Yeah,
We're
it'll
in
be
March.
summer.
That was supposed to be out by now.
Darkwing Duck. Things change.
Like
Things
Lightyear
change.
Frontier.
Yeah, like your
Yeah.
Frontier, that got a little delay. Hey, Benedict Fox is still on track though, so you know, looking forward to that one.
Boy.
I think you know, an hour into the show, I think that is more or less the news for this week, right? Like,
Yeah.
the only thing
I'm
really left to
okay.
talk about is the thing we always talk about, the thing we love to talk about.
Yeah.
We got bored talking about it when there wasn't anything really to talk about. Now there's really good spicy things all the
There
time.
is some spicy takes. Like, so, cool. Where do I start? So, ABK news. ABK news for the timestamps. ABK.
Everyone gets a COD deal now. Everyone gets a
Everybody.
COD
You want a COD deal? You want a Game Pass X Cloud COD deal? You want a Cloud COD deal? Let's go.
I mean, look. So who are those companies? Boosteroid got a deal.
Ubits.
Badooby, Scooby, someone got a
Scooby
deal.
Snacks.
And people were right to be like, well, what about Amazon Luna? Why
Maybe
don't
that's
they
in-
have a deal?
In flight, mate. Maybe that's in flight. There's plenty of
Amazon
days
is not
left.
putting any money into Luna. I don't think they care about it. Luna's library has shrunk by like 500%. They just don't give a shit about it anymore. They gave up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, aren't Boosteroid and Ubitus? Thank you, Ulfric. Aren't Boosteroid and Ubitus more like, as opposed to being front end cloud gaming providers?
Boosteroid is front end. Ubitus is
are
back
they?
end for Switch. Yeah, Boosteroid works in the Eastern European, Asian area. They got 4 million customers. Ubitus is the one that they provide the infrastructure for Switch games to run on the cloud.
It's interesting though, because these cloud companies were called out as being left behind. So that's a very strategic target for Microsoft to go after.
Of course it is.
When it comes to offering remedies.
Of course it is.
So it's good to see, and you know, we already know we've got Nvidia and Nintendo on board.
But it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't Microsoft give these deals? Like, it's not like these services have gigantic market shares.
Exactly.
Right. And in the end, you're still buying the game directly from Microsoft. So to be able to play Halo on Boosteroid, you're buying Halo off the Microsoft store. You're not buying it on Boosteroid.
No, you're absolutely right.
So why not?
Yes, no brainer. But the point is, from a regulatory point of view, yeah, we're playing nice with everybody. Like, what's Sony's
everyone.
problem? And it is really funny to me, like the CMA, you know, right. So let's get the EU team out of the way, right? The FTC, we're not going to worry about those guys. They can't stop anything. They can try and
They
sue,
can't
they're
stop
pretty
anything.
gonna
They're toothless.
The EU Commission, it's nothing official, right? But they've received the remedies package from Microsoft. They have dropped, according to popular rumor and reports from Reuters, they have dropped console.
Isn't it Reuters?
Reuters, whatever it is.
You keep calling it Reuters, and as an Australian,
all right, NVIDIA, Sega.
No, but his Reuters one is, all about the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Rooting
Like
in Australia.
that's
is-
right. Like to an American, the Rooters isn't going to sound as abrupt, but to an Australian, when I hear someone going, "So anyway, on Rooters," I'm like, "Is that competition for Pornhub?" Like it sounds a little bit different to me when
So
I
that
hear
internet
Rooters.
browsing going on there, bro. Yeah, you got that on the mind.
I'm pretty sure it's Reuters.
Reuters. But anyway, they did some reporting. The EU Commission have dropped console as a segment of business to be worried about. Right. So
it's all about cloud.
sorry, Sony, you've overplayed your hand. We're just going to focus on cloud. And well, Microsoft are putting a load of remedies on there. That's interesting news. They've delayed now till May 22nd, I think, if memory serves. So now, if we look at the CMA, I find what's happening really interesting, right? So the CMA, they've not announced a delay yet, but their provisional findings, didn't take into account any of the Nintendo deals, Valve deals. We've offered this, nothing of that was taken into account, and they were like, divestiture, behavioral remedies shouldn't be considered in this case. But then they've started releasing bits. So we've seen the first thing that's quite interesting is the 6 game companies that published their thoughts on whether the deal should go ahead. First off, all 6 were positive,
fine with it.
like, please let it go ahead. But this one, and I want to get this guy on, and I'm trying to find it. Here we go. I'm going to read this.
Sony was the only one truly opposing it. That's not,
of course,
breaking news.
But the
We've known
CMA
that
must
from
be
day one.
the CMA must be reading this, going, "Oh, we're really going to have to dig deep if we want to stick to Sony's guns here." But this one, I think I know who wrote this, right? I felt compelled to get in touch regarding the CMA's notice of possible remedies, and I'm not going to read the whole thing word for word, but he's basically saying, or she, but I think it's a he. On PlayStation, we found our sales growing stagnant with each release. PlayStation, despite
would their name rhyme with Reich Mose?
yes, it would. I think it would. But he's basically talking about how PlayStation Store discovery is really poor, despite having the lion's share of player numbers and console sales. But on Xbox, the opposite is true, and Game Pass is great, and there's lots of buzz. It won't make Xbox the dominant platform. It's far more likely it will create a level playing field between Xbox and PlayStation, which at this point in time is sorely needed. Super interesting stuff. I do think it was Mike Rose. I'd love to get him on the show.
That's all stuff we've all said, though.
Of course it is.
The only way it makes Microsoft the dominant console platform is if they make Call of Duty exclusive. That's the only way. And they've already said they're not going to do that. So I don't know what else. And they may do it in 10 years. But the market can change so much in 10 years. So
yeah,
how about you worry about 10 years from now? If Sony is that concerned about Microsoft in 10 years' time pulling Call of Duty, you've got 10 years to either build yourself a competitor or do something
about it.
Contact the Roblox guys. Get in touch with Roblox and get Frontlines on your platform if you want. If you want to do something, you've got a decade. You know how long that is in the console space? That's a long ass time.
I will be 48.
What?
I'll be 48 years old.
I'll be 53.
It's enough time to make one AAA game.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think I've said this before. I know we're repeating ourselves. Call of Duty might not be a juggernaut in 10 years. And all of this is going to look hilarious.
Yeah.
Because Call of Duty might, I'm saying might not be the juggernaut it is in 10 years' time. It just might not be.
Now, this is the other interesting bit. Cast your mind back to a leaked memo or something like that, where it was Jim Ryan talking to his team and saying, in 2 years, Game Pass has barely scraped together, enough subscribers, and we've sold 3 times as many consoles as if they've got subscribers. We're not worried about Game Pass. But then in the responses that Sony submitted to the CMA, they admit that beyond doubt, Game Pass is far ahead of
Game
PlayStation
Pass is
Plus.
smashing us. They're smashing us. Now, I'm very curious. So we've seen how both Microsoft and Sony have been very tricky with their numbers throughout all of this, to make themselves look worse. they've both been doing it. Microsoft's been trying to make themselves look worse. Sony's been trying to make themselves look worse. So I'm curious because PlayStation Plus has around 48 million to 50 million subscribers. PlayStation Plus is a merged service, which is now PS Now and PS Plus combined with the tiers.
Yeah.
Game Pass's numbers are just Game Pass. There's no gold in there. We don't know what Gold's numbers are. So, and I doubt Sony knows what Gold's numbers are. I don't even know if Microsoft knows what Gold's numbers are anymore. So I'm curious when Sony says Game Pass is smashing us, what are they comparing Game Pass's roughly 30 million to what on PlayStation's in? Are they counting it? Are they talking about the higher tier of Plus, the middle tier, the lower tier?
Who knows?
PS Now? Are they talking about PS Now by itself? Because PS Now doesn't exist anymore. So I'm very curious as to what numbers Sony is using to compare Plus to Game Pass, where they say Game Pass is smashing us.
Well, I guess we'll look forward to finding this out. But the really, really hilarious piece of all of this was I read Microsoft's response, and there's some really fun stuff in there, right? Where they're like talking about how ridiculous the CMA's argument is, and they're picking it apart piece by piece. But the most amusing one was the CMA did this comparison of why it would make sense for Microsoft to foreclose and make Call of Duty exclusive, and they showed some revenue calculations, and they literally compared, and I want to make sure I get this right. They took the model of a 5-year basis of losses, comparing it to just a 1-year basis. So instead of 5 years to 5 years to show what they would lose, they took a 5-year, how much you gain in 5 years versus a 1-year loss. And look how much money they'd make. And it's like, really? That's your calculation?
So they're full in Sony's pocket then?
They made a massive clerical error where they literally compared completely silly numbers that made no sense.
But they've been doing this odd stuff the entire time.
Really, really bad.
Like, why do we do that? Why do we tiptoe around what we're seeing in front of us with our own eyes? I don't get why we do that. Why do we do it? We're not beholden to Sony. We don't rely on them for codes or anything like that. Why is everyone tiptoeing around the fact that the CMA is clearly compromised? Say whatever you want. So, you're just an Xbox fanboy. Of course you're going to say that. I don't even want this deal to go through, but I still know what I see with my own 2 functioning eyeballs.
Do you know what? Like if you remember on the last time we spoke about CMA and ABK on the show, I was like, I don't want it to fail, but like more and more, I'm like, oh my God, I think the CMA are actually going to go crazy here and stop it.
They probably will.
After reading through all of the responses, like, I can't say, and this isn't a fanboy take. Microsoft have all of the facts on their side.
That's right.
So
that's always been the case.
And what's really interesting about the appeal process is you have to cite irrationality as a reason for why it should be appealed for the CMA, to my knowledge. So I'm like, yeah, this does seem pretty freaking irrational right now. But hey, we're now seeing the CMA release some stuff where it's very clear that all of the companies that they're interviewing have been positive for the deal. Like if they've released 6 companies and they were all fucking, no, don't let this happen, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's right.
Every single one of these companies was like, yeah, this is a great shout.
For it.
Let's go.
Because it takes, but you know why? Think about it logically. Why would EA oppose the deal? Think about it. Why would EA, for example, oppose the deal? Microsoft is taking away their biggest competition.
Yeah, their stock price can go up because they're more valuable, blah, blah, blah.
So, of course, EA is not going to complain because Microsoft's taking away their biggest competition.
My friend Jeff Grubb and I discussed this and came to the conclusion that none of these companies want being bought out to ever be taken away as an option. They don't want the possibility of you can't be bought. So you make a new company. Yeah, you make a company. Yeah. You do your hard work. You want to sell out and you want to retire or go make another company, which is what capitalism is. Well, if you tell companies, you know what, you can't sell yourself. Sorry, it sets a terrible precedent, and companies
That's
are
right.
like, well, eat shit.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's the thing. Right now, the CMA's biggest concern is probably being exposed as corrupt. That's probably their only real concern.
I think now after reading everything from this week, I'm like, I think that they've considered some stuff. I wonder if they're going to end up in a similar boat as the EU, where they'll be given the same concessions. Like Microsoft's been pretty clear. No, selling COD isn't an option. No, we're not looking to divest any of the assets. Here's what we are willing to do. Take it or leave it.
I can't remember where I read this. It may have been in our Discord. Isn't there an option where, let's say, the CMA continues to remain loopy, which they probably will, and they
It is a
block
crazy island right now.
and they block it, right? Couldn't Microsoft set up
No,
a subsidiary company in the UK?
no,
No.
because it's be owned by them. Like people said, oh, can't they just, stop doing business for just anything ABK related in the UK? But that's not how it works because it's owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft as an entire company entity would have to stop doing business in the UK if they were.
Okay.
And that's what I mean. It's like the UK is such a crazy Tory run shithole at the moment anyway.
Come to Australia. Australia's good.
Mate, the whole world's gone mad. It's infuriating. But yes, so very entertaining to read all of this drama. I'm very, very curious to see which way the wind blows. But at the moment for the CMA, the date is still late April. I think it's like the 26th or the 22nd, right? EU is now delayed May 22nd. All right, so the saga continues. But we're technically 1 or 2 months away from, seeing this put to bed. Here's a question. When's Diablo 4 coming out? Like retail?
June 6th.
Man.
I still reckon it's a chance.
If they get the green light from the EU and they get the green light from the CMA, and they'll be like, FTC,
And there's absolutely zero stopping them, especially given the relationship now between ABK and Sony. There's absolutely zero stopping Microsoft from just doing a straight up Game Pass deal at the last second.
Yeah.
Last minute Game Pass deals happen. I'm telling you now, Guilty Gear Strive,
no,
that happened very
because
fast.
I think they're not allowed to do new things with ABK until the deal is passed.
They're not allowed to work outside of their normal business practices. I think you could call that a normal business practice.
So a Game Pass deal would count as a normal business practice. They've been doing Game Pass deals for 3 years.
Yeah.
Don't see why that wouldn't be possible. Didn't one of the older Diablos go onto Game Pass, or am I mistaken?
No.
No, I don't think so.
3?
They've done free play. They've done free play days. They've never been on Game Pass.
But I guarantee you, with the show in June, they've got a video ready made. Like if they've completed, where they're like, "Here's an announcement." All of them.
No, they have to be. That's just standard.
Activision Blizzard games.
That's standard in the industry. Like they would have. They 100% would have a whole bunch of ads, Game Pass ads for ABK stuff, just in case everything goes through. There'd be a whole bunch of stuff. That's what these companies do. It happens everywhere. There's graphic design and stuff like that involved. They're like, okay, these things may happen, so let's have some stuff ready. We've done it.
Yeah.
We at XboxEra have done it.
We've got a bunch of very interesting acquisition images.
Yeah, you get a bunch of stuff ready because of things you're hearing or things you're aware may happen. So you get a bunch of stuff ready. So you're Johnny on the spot to get everything out there if it happens.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I could tell you stories with where my wife used to work. She used to do a lot of graphic design for sports memorabilia. But of course, you don't know well into the future which two teams are going to be playing in a grand final or which player is going to win the MVP is what you guys would all call it. We call it the Brownlow medal. So she'd make up like 5-6 options for who the favorites were and then have a ready to go. So when that winner is announced, bang, there it is the very next morning, ready to go. That's just standard.
It's like all the Super Bowl t-shirts that end up in Africa.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Same deal. Now, something I posted on Twitter related to ABK. Now, last week I put out a challenge. I said, I want someone to legitimately explain to me without the perspective of, but my PlayStation, I want someone to legitimately explain to me why this deal could be seen as a bad thing. And someone reached out to me via DM on Twitter. Now, I'm not going to say who this person is. All I will say about this person is that they're an XboxEra patron. And they sent me a DM. And all they were doing was explaining why it could be seen as a bad thing from regulators. And that isn't the perspective of protecting Sony ultimately. Now, I am going to preface this. I'm going to read it out because I'm not eloquent enough and I'm not intelligent enough to summarize this. So I'm just going to read it out. But I will preface it by saying this is like, this person was just giving me like effectively what is a worst case scenario. Just like how we've been doing. We've been saying worst case scenario, Sony's third, Microsoft's first. This person was trying to give me the perspective from a regulator looking at a worst case scenario that isn't just about protecting Sony, because that's all the CMA's been doing. And when I read this message, I was like, okay, that's not a bad argument. It's actually not too bad. And if the CMA had been saying this stuff, I'd be clowning on them less. And if they have said this stuff, please let me know. So I'll just read it out. And this person's probably watching right now. They're probably watching. Okay. So what this message says, and I think this is a not bad argument for explaining why this could be seen as a bad thing. Microsoft is $1 trillion company purchasing a big third-party publisher in the market after buying another big third-party player the year before. The primary concern is the amount of money Microsoft is willing to put into deals to gain more studios, games, and high-profile IPs, coupled with a market-disrupting delivery model, Game Pass, that can have several types of major impacts on the game market. Okay? That's fine. We understand that. Let's say ABK goes through and Microsoft finally has 30 plus studios churning out games on a regular cadence, all for the low price of a monthly subscription, because Microsoft can subsidize the price of Game Pass for ages to gain market share. It has the annual Call of Duty on it, Minecraft on it, Bethesda on it, with a myriad of other exclusive titles. Sounds great for consumers, right? Yes, it does.
I'm with you so far.
Yep. Yep. We haven't even heard anything about Sony yet.
Okay.
Not necessarily for the industry itself, because you will start seeing Microsoft spend less on third-party Game Pass deals because it's cheaper to create their own content, which I've actually said.
Yeah.
Think Netflix and blah, 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 blah. You already talk about how big Japanese studios are waiting for the Game Pass bag. That bag will get smaller and negatively impact smaller publishers. Again, fair enough. Another potential impact is, let's say Game Pass does double and go to 50, 60 million subs. Now Microsoft can directly influence the success or failure of games, not only on their platform, but on PC and cloud too. So they are the ones that can make demands on how much they would like publishers to pay them to get the Game Pass bump. I never thought about that.
The argument is Game Pass becomes such a powerful tool for discovery and consumer worth
that Microsoft starts to guide. That is a good. Again,
that's
a good
okay.
Point.
Fine.
But remember what this is. I prefaced it. I said this is just like trying to look at worst case scenarios from how regulators might look at it. This isn't. So far, we've heard nothing about Sony, and this was a similar argument to what Brazil said about. Well, what if Microsoft turns around and says, "Well, we don't need third-party publishers on our platform. We've got ABK now." Again, unlikely to happen, but it was an interesting point to think about. Okay. Now let's look at the most common fanboy perspective, PlayStation versus Xbox. If there is a shift or even a balancing of power between the two of them in the market, Sony is now competing with a behemoth tech company that has original content that they deliver at a subsidized price with a disruptive delivery system that is device agnostic. Sony has historically had better content and better cachet in the industry, but you can't deny the value on the other side. So Sony starts losing consumers, and now they can't fund the games that help them differentiate themselves. Again, we've kind of alluded to that.
Yeah, Sony themselves said, hey, the
COD funds everything.
Funds.
Yeah.
They called out COD specifically, but yeah, okay.
Yep. Now let's talk about predatory pricing practices. If your main competitors only offer games at $70, but you undercut it by offering all your new games at $15 a month, you price Sony out of the market if your games come out consistently and have huge player interest, in brackets COD. If you follow the logic to its extreme end, and that's what this is, this was like a worst case possible scenario that's highly unlikely to happen. If you follow the logic to its extreme end, you can't either get to a point where your competition can't compete and goes out of business, and you can jack up the price of your product, which would impact the consumer negatively because you've taken away choice. But like you said, that's an extreme thing.
That is Microsoft foreclosing Sony out of the market over a period of
Correct.
time. Yeah.
Which we all know would never happen. And I replied to this person going, I think Sony's a bit too entrenched for the foreclosure to happen. Now, none of this would likely happen overnight, but those are the parameters regulators would be looking at. They are looking at how many major players are in the market and if consumers will still have choice in the market, or if it becomes a monopoly, or if one company can dictate how things go.
Which is the
Sony
current status quo.
Basically.
Sony are currently dictating how things
Sony
go.
being the market leader for so long just means that they have been doing a lot of this on a smaller scale than what Microsoft could potentially do. Just look at how all streaming services are increasing their prices now. Apple decided that your new phone should be $1,000 instead of $500. Sega decided it didn't make sense to continue in the hardware market with Sony's dominance. So I replied to that saying, yeah, fair enough. That's a better argument than most of the stuff I've heard, and especially what's coming out of the CMA. But I said, ultimately, I still think Sony is far too entrenched for even that worst case scenario to ever happen. And it also assumes that Microsoft's going to go back to being 90s Microsoft, which is you're all dead, which also probably won't happen.
Well, I mean, it's a great what if scenario, right? But I think it assumes everyone would go and jump the subscription service. It makes sense on paper to me, but not all consumers think that way. Lots of people like to own their stuff. I don't think you can underestimate Sony's brand power and staying power in the industry.
Correct.
And I think that if this were to happen, as you know, mean as this sounds, it is capitalism doing what capitalism does. Right. Okay. We can't compete in this space because you're so entrenched. So we'll change where we're competing and we'll do what we can because we're bigger. And now we're playing a different game. And then, you can't play that game. So the only end result there would be not Sony foreclosing. It would be Sony being bought by a bigger company that can then go to war in a different way.
And I still think that'll be Apple.
Yeah.
I still think that'll be Apple because they
So
just
perfect.
align too much. But again, everyone, I don't want anyone getting rolled up. This was just one of our patrons DMing me, trying to give another perspective on how they think regulators could see it. That's not just, but what about Sony? Which I don't think that was. I don't think that was from the perspective of, well, we've got to protect Sony. I don't think.
No.
Like that point about Microsoft guiding what's successful. I did not think of that. That Microsoft could get so, they were like, well, hey, you want to be big on Xbox? Well, you know, blah, blah, blah. I never thought about that. And he did bring up one other thing that I didn't even, not that I didn't think of it, I just kind of forgot about it. Something else that aligns with why MS is getting more scrutiny versus Sony when it comes to the acquisitions is likely the impact the market saw when Microsoft announced its intention to buy ABK and Sony's share prices took a nosedive. Regulators would look at that as potential proof that Microsoft could run them out of business in a worst case scenario. I'm sure Sony would lead into that as one of the reasons it needs to be blocked. And that is a little bit of protecting Sony, but that's capitalism. But again, it's another point that Sony shares could.
Is that person
shit
wanting
themselves.
to remain anonymous that shared that?
I told them I wasn't going to say who it is, but it is one of our patrons. It's an Xbox era patron, so this isn't some Resetera fanboy that's disguised themselves to me or something like that. It's one of our patrons. And I thought they were reasonably good arguments that weren't coming from the perspective of we've got to protect Sony at all costs.
They're definitely they're playing into a lot of what ifs, but they're doing it in a very sensible way.
And they said
I
that.
appreciate
They said
the
that.
viewpoint.
Yes, that's all I want. I just want someone to come at me with a well-explained, reasonable viewpoint on why this should be seen as a bad deal. I think that did a decent job of it. Yes, there was a lot of assumptions being made, and there was a lot of, Microsoft would have to become 90s Microsoft again for that to happen. And it also assumes that Sony's brand power would reduce drastically, which I don't think it would reduce that drastically. So it does make a lot of worst case scenario what ifs, but at least I didn't mind that argument when I read it.
The only thing I would say to that is it seems that all of these kind of opinions and conversations, it cracks me up because the regulators are doing the same thing. They exist in a world where no one talks about the fact that Nintendo exists.
Yeah, I know.
And exists without any third-party support and is super profitable and is the highest selling console.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
You know, and it's like, you know, there's nothing
it's the dumbest
to
thing.
prevent from Sony from going that route. And really, but it was a well-written piece. So a big thank you to that patron that shared that, because that's pretty cool. It could have gone worse, Nick. I was expecting all sorts of crazy diatribe, and
no, but if it was Looney Tunes stuff, I wouldn't have read it. Like I read it out because it was you don't have to agree with it. I'm not asking you to agree with it. The challenge I put out was I want someone to tell me why this is a genuinely bad deal that isn't from the perspective of, but you've got to protect my PlayStation. And I did that in a UK accent because the CMA are idiots and they're the only ones opposing this. So I wanted someone to explain it to me that wasn't from that dumb perspective. And I think that did an okay job of it.
Yeah, good shout.
Especially that point about Microsoft deciding the success or failure of games. That was a really good one. That one...
Bestowing Game Pass deals upon the chosen few.
Yeah, it's like,
it says should succeed.
That's right. So all of a sudden, indies start to right now, Game Pass is like this great thing for indies. But if they get ABK and all of a sudden 50 million, 60 million, 70 million subscribers, and they become the market leader and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, indies just kind of, we don't need you guys anymore. We've got all of this.
Well, we saw, look, hey, you want to talk about real world example? PlayStation and the PS4. Those first few years where there were no games, but they were dominant.
It's all about the indies.
Oh, we love indies. Love you guys.
PlayStation loves indies.
Loves them.
Dude, as Uncharted 4 came out,
and
then everything that followed post Uncharted 4, suddenly seeing a lot less indie love and indie promotion after that. I'm not saying we saw none. I'm just saying we saw, but
it's
why? Because they didn't need it because they had all their bangers coming after that.
Yeah. But it is amusing that all of that is currently what Sony is doing right this moment, just at a much smaller scale because they're not a $1 trillion company. It's correct. It is amusing to me, you know, that's basically what's going on.
But anyone that thinks Sony wouldn't try and buy ABK if they had the money to, got a bridge to sell you.
Yeah. But hey, I think that about wraps up the ABK discussion. I'm sure chat loved it. Only 133 likes, 300 odd people watching. That's not even halfway. It just makes me sad inside. So, you know, as a punishment, let's give them a Rumourmill, I guess. You know, like boom, just a little Rumourmill, just a little one, a little amuse-bouche.
It is a little one to the point where I was contemplating whether I even worry about it.
Yeah, it's just a teensy weensy.
But let's do it anyway. Bugger it.
Yeah, hit that button.
Rumourmill, we've never heard that before. It's the Rumourmill. Things change, we can't be sure. It's the Rumourmill. You know they may not come true.
The XboxEra podcast is not responsible for websites presenting these rumors as facts.
Okay. This was going to be slightly more substantial. I got a DM overnight with some things. And I was like, oh, wow, can I Rumourmill that? And they're like, yeah, sure. But then I got something else later that was a follow-up that kind of reduced it a bit. And then I was like, oh, is it still worth going with a Rumourmill if it's just this? Anyway,
I
so
think our friend at VGC would appreciate it.
our friend Andy Robinson, who has said he'll appear on our show, but still hasn't appeared on our show because he's a wanker.
Well, they started his own game. He's started
His own
podcast now.
podcast, didn't
You
he?
know, taking on
He
the
started his own
big boys.
podcast, didn't he? Water Bottle.
Water. Hey,
Water
what am I doing?
Bottle.
I'm taking the piss out of my own crew.
Water Bottle. So
What's going on?
Andy Robinson, just over a year ago, I believe, had the exclusive reporting on Lego and 2K entering into an agreement to do some sports games.
Mhm.
And in that article, which I think Jesse should have the link to because I did send it to him before. In that article, they mentioned the first couple of games, first cabs off the rank would be like a soccer game, I think, and a racing game. So I got some info about that racing game. And then it was sort of, it's hard to explain without saying things I'm not meant to say. But in the end, of all the stuff I got, the only thing I got that was, I guess, new info, quote unquote new info, was I believe I know the name of this game, which is called...
It's the most crap name ever. It's like the marketing guys were really strung out after every weekend.
The game
What's
is
our
called...
company name?
The game is called Lego 2K Drive. That's it. That's the name of this game. Now, which is odd because there was a Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 kart racer called Lego Racers, which apparently was a very good game. You'd think they would have just called this Lego Racers or Lego 2K Racers, but no, they called it Lego 2K Drive. It's a kart racer. Andy's article mentions open world. I don't know if it's like a full-blown open world, like a Forza Horizon type of thing. I think it's got like closed circuit races within a semi kind of like open world-ish thing where you drive to different... Maybe it is kind of like a smaller scale Lego Forza Horizon thing. I don't know, but that's not the point of the rumor mill. The point of the rumor mill was the name, which...
And corroborating VGC's reporting.
Yeah. Although I do worry now that because we've said the name and it's not the greatest name, they'll probably just go and change it. Probably go and change the name on us.
Oh man. No, I doubt it. I doubt it. Because it's nice and simple.
That was part of the reason I was like hesitant to even bother, because I'm like, if we say the name and talk about how not great the name is, they'll probably be like, guys, we've got to change the name. It's not a good name.
Yeah, the marketing guys wake up Monday morning, they're like, what did they say about us? They said we were scraping the bottom of the barrel.
It's like, so the name leaked and the response was not good. We need to change this name.
I mean, yeah, you know, like, I just seen in the chat, I'm gonna crumb says, regardless of the name, I'm down for Lego Forza. And you know, like Forza Horizon 4 did the Lego,
the Lego,
the Lego add-on, the DLC expansion, and it was really good fun. Could a whole world with some decent arcadey racing built in Lego be fun? Yes, it could. Like, imagine if they build a track builder with that, and you can like.
Yeah, I know, but can we not? I'm not saying it's a Lego Forza Horizon. I wish.
No,
I
know you're not. I know you're not. I know you're not.
I wish I had said nothing now. It's not a Lego Forza Horizon. That's not what. That's not what this is. At least not that
every
I know
rumor
of.
mill is followed by deep regret.
Speculation.
No,
Regret
I
over
can't help it
speculation.
because I want to talk about it. I want to flesh out the segment a little bit more. I just like to speculate and stuff. And then people, why is it only me that cops the speculation as well?
You
Nick
wanna do what
said,
Grub does. Just don't give a shit. Just tell them they're idiots. Tell them to fuck off, and then you do you.
I want to be liked by everyone.
Oh, that can't happen.
There's that ego. That ego's back, knocking on the door. Wants some fucking receipt.
And speaking of rumor mill stuff, did you see that leak? Apparently came from 4chan. There's like shots of like Shin Megami Tensei 3, 4, and 5. It's got like Game Pass and Xbox underneath. And then there's some other rumor from somewhere else, from some other leaker, that apparently was like Shin Megami Tensei is coming to Xbox. Where'd we hear that? Grubsmas episode.
Right here.
Yeah,
The
funny that, isn't
XboxEra
it?
podcast.
And everyone was
Brought
like,
to you
"Oh,
by
the fact that he
Control."
said Shin Megami Tensei." Which one was it? Which one is the one that's supposed to be impossible to do?
The
3 or
3DS
4?
one, I think.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
4. I think
I
it's
saw
4.
some people saying, "Oh, the fact that he said 4 means he's full of shit." I don't know. I don't play Shin Megami Tensei, but then all of a sudden, in these shots, we're seeing screenshots of 4 involved, and 3 and 5. Whatever, you idiots.
Go
I was
on.
just noticing, Nick, you were having some delicious brekkie there.
No, that's just water.
Oh.
I've run out. I've run out of control, so I'm
Oh.
waiting for some more to come. So what you see back there is like an empty bag of it.
Because you've
Um,
eaten it all because it's so delicious.
I've eaten it all. So I'm waiting for more to come.
I want banana split.
and if-
Give me banana split.
And if you want more control at your place, go to drinkcontrol.com/XboxEra and use our code for 10% off. Control is amazing. It's so good. And they've got a new banana split flavor. I don't know what it tastes like, but I want to try it.
There you
It
go.
should be nice.
But
But yes,
there you go. Little
Lego
Rumourmill
2K Drive.
Drive. If you add an L to the end, Lego 2K
Drivel. Drivel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There you go.
That's
There
the
you go.
Rumourmill. Just
That's
something
the
small.
Rumourmill.
It's just a name. It's just the
Little
name
tidbit.
of a game.
Little
Oh, yes.
Hey, look at that. Oh, that's
Greatest
bringing the buzzing
segue
live.
ever.
Buzzing live. Where's my
Code
code?
is in the private chat.
Oh yeah,
Thank
Jesus,
you.
buzzing live.
Chat, while we're here,
Buzzing live.
we're about to play Name a Game. Let's roll the intro.
Button is pressed.
Okay.
We're back. It's Name a Game.
We are back. Yes, that's right. And hey, I can hear the music.
I know.
I'm
it's
playing it
great,
through
isn't it?
StreamYard.
love it that we
I
can
had a
hear
thought
the
in my
music,
brain.
Jesse.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's good. I like hearing it while I'm doing this.
It makes me feel like we're
You know
See,
what?
I had a
you know what
thought.
I also like. You know what I also like hearing. I like hearing when people tell me their stories about how they cured their itchiness down below because they went and they used our code XboxEra at Manscaped and got 20% off their lawnmower.
Oh,
And
20%.
they got free shipping.
Sizable-
Yeah,
that's
and
a
they got
sizable
free
discount.
shipping. And they say, Nick, mate, thanks so much because you've cured your recommendation of the lawnmower 4.0 has cured my crotch itch. that
You know
was
what I thought
down
you were
there."
going to say? I thought you were going to say, you know what I like to hear is the sound of the Lawnmower 4.0's precision blade system slicing across my ball sack. I thought that's what you were
Yeah.
going to say. Because I also
Yeah.
like that sound. It's quite comforting.
Yeah,
knowing
it
I've got
is.
the guard
And
on
the
my balls are
convenience
protected.
of USB-C charging, mate. You can't. That's just the next level. USB-C
Perfect.
charging.
It's like
great.
a phone, except it's a
It's
shape
like,
of
oh
a
no,
computer.
I've lost the official charger that came with it. That's okay. I'll just use the thing that I charge my Xbox controller with.
Boom.
I can use it to charge my ball trimmer. The same charger that I use for my Xbox controller can also use for my ball trimmer.
We've
like-
lost 30 viewers.
I don't know. That's like the greatest cross promotion ever. Xbox and Manscaped in the one thing.
Yeah.
Come on. That's skill
Come on.
to be able to tie it in like that. That takes
Yeah,
some
skill.
serious skill. So make sure you use our code if you want that great stuff. And the undies are good too. Get the undies as well. And the ball deodorant.
And
That's
everything's
all right as
good.
well.
Anyway,
I had to
for those
resize
that
a
are
few
new to
things for 1440p.
Those that are new to the channel, This is Name a Game. This is a weekly quiz show that we do on the XboxEra podcast, where the quizmaster, Jesse, unless we've got a guest, will ask us questions where he's flipped the name around on some games and replaced them with synonyms and the occasional antonym to help
the
us
occasional
guess
direct
this.
translation.
Yeah. So let's play. Nick and I play for our patrons. So if you're an XboxEra patron, we'll pick some patrons at random at the beginning of the show, and we'll be their champion. And if one of us wins, that patron that we play for gets a free game code out of the plethora of game codes we have on hand.
We have a lot of them.
We do.
I was worried we wouldn't have enough.
Well, we do. We do.
I had 130.
Maybe we should start giving people like 4 or 5 games.
No, I very kindly hand them out to friends of the site. Nick, we had 130. I handed out 70 of them. I'm back up to 85.
Okay.
That's a more reasonable.
We will never run out.
Well, I'm playing for Kraken 56.
I am playing for, I think, Natalie, aka Medusa.
Yeah. Okay.
One of our XboxEra patrons.
Congrats, Kraken.
All right.
Congrats in advance.
The theme for this week, in honor of Diablo 4, video games that have demons or the devil in them.
All right.
Number 1 is 2 words. The first word's the. The second word is, I had to break it up into quite a few things. It is the hard to see area. The hard -to see area.
Man. Demons or devils? Demons or what?
Demons or the
What is
devil.
it?
The hard to see area.
And it doesn't even have to be about demons or the devil. It just has to have them as a part of the game in some way.
Wow, that's some broad.
This one's so fucking easy. I thought this one would be instant. Okay.
Oh,
Sik and Nick, after looking at chat.
I was an absolute cracking fan of this on the 360, and I is it back compat?
Yes.
I'm
they both
hoping
are.
I'm right because it's based on a comic book, and it was surprisingly great. Is this The Darkness?
Correct.
I loved that game, man.
I don't know,
They
Cam-
did a sequel, and it wasn't as good. The Darkness 2 wasn't as good.
You know what isn't as good is the fact that your answer came right after it showed up in chat. I don't know. I think Nick might be right.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised?
Haven't even got chat open. Look, you can see. In fact, you can see in my
In your
monitor
giant
behind me.
forehead? Oh, no.
Look, you can see my monitor. Right, you can see. Look at the white
I'm
light.
reading
That is
chat
the-
in it
the
right
buzzing
now.
Live.
Yeah.
Right, and there it goes. It's gone.
Your monitor's enormous. It could be off to the side. All right, next one. With Sik and Nick go up 1-0. Oh, you know what? I gotta fix. Hold on, let me fix the scoreboard. It's not showing the goddamn score. Useless shit. Woo. Oh, there's a big 0 for Nick. There we go.
Henry set the buzzer too.
Yep, that was coming next. The next one is 1 word. It's 1 word, but again, it's 2 words with a hyphen in the middle. But the actual answer is 1 word.
Okay.
Heck child. Heck-child. Sik and Mechanico.
Hellboy.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Nothing
see.
to say. Nothing to say.
Nothing.
I didn't even know Hellboy was a game.
Yeah, there's been a couple of them, and there's one coming that actually looked really good.
I know there's the
Remember?
new one coming, but I
Yeah.
didn't know there was any older ones.
All right, next one is really flippin' long. It is. There's a couple of hyphens. It's really hard
a lot
to.
of
Video game titles are stupid. It's really hard to get things without hyphens. All right. Most
So, wait. Before you say it, so
Mm.
remind me again. So what's the so?
anything that
Is this
has
one of those situations-
demons or.
No,
the
I
devil in
know.
it. Mm.
So is this one of those ones where it's only like 2 words, but you're going to say 57 words? Is
This
right?
one is 6 words total, but there's 2 hyphens. Yeah, it's not hard. This one's not hard the moment you get it. It is most pious, 1 word, most pious line, : gun out of the underworld. The underworld is the other hyphen. Most pious line, colon, gun
Line
out of
or
the underworld.
lion?
L-I-N-E.
Oh, line. Most
Gun
pious
out
line.
of the underworld. The underworld is one word. For the win,
I know the last few words, but I still don't know the game, as weird as that sounds. And if I say those last few words, it's going to give John the finger.
don't say shit. Nick and Mechanico.
Saints Row, Get Out of Hell.
Correct.
Wow.
See, that's a good one. I know it's long, but it's a good one.
I knew the last 3 words were out of hell, and I'm like, what game is out of hell? And then I remembered Saints Row. But does that have the devil in it?
Yeah, I mean, it's got demons in it. It's in hell.
I've never played it.
Me neither. I heard it's terrible. Johnny Gat is a terrible character.
But if I
so
say
having a
out of
DLC about
hell,
him was
if I
stupid.
tell John it's out of hell, he's going to guess it straight away.
Or if someone had said it in
To be
chat
fair,
based on
I
that, he
wouldn't
would
have
say
remembered. Is
Really?
it Bat Out of Hell, like the Meatloaf song?
Gat.
Bat?
G-A-T.
Yeah, see, I would.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
the
have said.
song is Bat, but yes, it's Gat.
Yeah, I would have said Bat because I would not have remembered the word.
I
Gat.
just knew the out of hell, and I was just trying to remember.
I know it
games in
had
my
the
head
devil
that-
or the demons in it
Out of
because
hell.
the Wikipedia entry for games with demons in them had Gat Out of Hell in there. So
Saints Row, most
Yes.
pious line.
Yeah.
Yeah, the line.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
row. Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'm going for another really stupid one next because some of the other ones I think are a little easy, and I don't want John to get an easy one when chat gives it to him. Next one is
What the fuck?
okay. There's 2 words, and then this is a 3-word game, but the 3rd word has 4 words for it. It is
I love this.
heritage of the most overused name for villains. Heritage of the most overused name for villains. It is not Sonic and Knuckles, Brett. Heritage of
What?
the
Sonic and
heritage.
Knuckles.
I know. Heritage of the most overused name for villains.
Heritage. Is there a colon in here? Or
No.
Just heritage of the most overused name for villains.
Yes. Chat is not gonna
again, I know the
yeah,
3rd word.
Yeah.
I know the 3rd word, and I
Fuck.
Don't look at chat. They're smarter than you.
know the 3rd word, and if I say the 3rd word, I'm gonna give it away to John.
I'm going to give it away. I'm going to do the risk, right? Because I can't. I think I figured out that final word.
Go ahead. Really not hard.
I don't want to give it
Heritage.
away.
Okay, Asante, you might have. Let's see if John is reading it or not.
Does the 3rd word start with Z?
I'm not giving any hints. This is an easy one.
I thought the 3rd word started with N.
I mean, you can both go. Just take a hint. We're running low on time. I'm going to start up the timer.
Most overused word for villains. starts
Name
with
for
N.
villains. Nick.
I said Z.
All right, I'm starting the timer.
Heritage.
Starting the timer. You guys get 10 seconds to buzz in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is
buzzed
right
in.
before Sik and Mechanico.
I don't know. I thought the thingy word was nemesis. Right, because that's an overword.
I thought it was
overused word for-
zombies. I said zombies. That's the most overused
No,
word
like-
for villains.
No,
Most
zombies.
not
overused
title.
word
no,
for a villain,
Name.
nemesis.
Actual name. An actual name.
Oh, it's gonna be
Ah.
fucking Harbinger or something stupid.
I was
like
saying,
that,
I was
innit?
thinking zombies in my head, and I was like,
Alright.
Age of
Do
Zombies.
you have a
I was
guess in the
like,
next few seconds, Nick or John, or no?
I don't know, because I had zombies in my head all this time. I was like, Age of
No.
Zombies.
Nah, Harbinger was the word, but I don't know. I don't know the game.
It is Legacy of Kain.
The most
Kane,
overused-
Command and Conquer. He
Yeah.
was your villain in Command and Conquer. Yeah,
Kain
alright,
is a
fair.
classically overused name for bad guys, yes.
Kane.
God, I had zombies in my head. So I'm
Wow.
like, Age of
I
Zombies.
I did not.
Because you're such a
Yeah,
Last of Us
sorry,
fan,
chat.
Nick. Whoop,
If you guys
moving
got
everything.
that, you're
Didn't
better
mean to do
than me. This is a tense.
That one,
tense
most
episode.
of chat got that one. No, you guys are just
Wow.
disgusting. I'm disgusted. The next one is, I'm not really disgusted. The next one is one word, and it's actually just one word. It is.
Oh, reset the chat. Reset the buzzer.
No,
Yeah,
I
reset
want Nick to
the
win.
buzzer.
Fine.
What?
What? The next one, he gets so sad when he loses. The next one
I know, he
is
gets really grumpy.
apostate.
Apostate.
I don't
One
even know
word.
what that word means.
Okay, your ignorance is your fault. Apostate.
And
Immediate. Chat gets it right away, so John will get it.
I used to have like full-on great vocab. What the hell apostate is?
Nick, it was the new one of the title. It was episode 2 of The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, because I remember the names of Mandalorian.
Sik and Mechanico.
I can't remember if this was or is a Bethesda game from back in the day. I definitely played
Just say the name.
it. And I'm confused if it's H or Hexen or Heretic. I can't remember what apostate means, but I think it's Heretic. I'll go with Heretic.
Correct.
So how are you guessing if
Mechanico
you
wins.
don't know what apostate means like me?
Because I couldn't remember if apostate was good or bad. And I thought it was bad.
It's bad if you're
then
religious. It's
you've
good if you're
got-
not.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I've never even heard of the word apostate.
Wow.
an apostate.
Did they just kill
is
everyone in
like
Greece if they try and leave a religion?
And Heretic was a cool as fuck game as well. On my 486 or my Pentium 2. I can't remember which.
Did the chat guess heretic?
Oh yes, multiple people.
Oh, really? Did they?
Yes.
Interesting.
The
That.
chat apparently also guessed Legacy of Kain, but
You
didn't
smartly
suddenly
didn't do
swoop
it
in
all
and
in a
get
row.
that.
All right, I've got a lot more.
That's exactly right. Very
Man.
smartly.
Sik
Did
and
they-
Mechanico
did
is
the
Did
one.
the
chat-
chat get GAT? Did the chat get Saints Row GAT? Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
I don't know. Did they?
Yes.
I knew out of hell.
All right. The next one. Now we're just playing for funsies. Sik and Mechanico has one. The next one is The Sinful Departed. The Sinful Departed.
Oh,
3 words.
I almost said the evil within, and I'm like, within's not the part of
Sik and Mechanico.
The Evil Dead?
Correct.
He's such a cheat.
But see,
No one said it.
again, I knew 2 of the words and gave you the answer. That's why I didn't say out of hell earlier, because I knew I would have given you Saints Row Get Out of Hell.
I could
wouldn't
see
have
the
remembered-
look of dawning in John's eyes. I think he was getting there. I could see the cogs very slowly churning in his sleep-deprived brain.
Whatever.
It's very bitter.
The very next one, after I clear these buzzers, is one word. I'm going to say 2 things with a hyphen. You should get it immediately. It is Goblet Noggin. Goblet Noggin. One word. Hyphenated. Nick.
Cuphead.
Cuphead.
Right.
Yeah. Have you watched the Netflix cartoon?
Not yet.
Genuinely really good fun.
Not yet.
Really, really good fun. My kids loved it.
All right.
I love the
Clear
way all the
buzzers.
ones I can get come after.
I purposely did that. I was like, these will be. I went for the hardest I could. When the game's on the line, I go for the hard ones. The next one is.
Maybe I should start looking at the chat.
You can't read. Next one is Independent in the Obscured. Independent in the Obscured. Nick.
Alone in the dark?
Correct.
Nice. That's really
Chat,
good.
did the chat get that?
After you, because of the delay.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Amit Kumar got it right away. Bam. All right, the next 2 are not similes. They are direct translations, which is why I brought it up earlier. You won't get either of them. You might get the second one. You won't get the first one until I give a hint. It is Rebirth of the Goddess. Neither of you have ever played this, nor will you ever.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we don't know what the game is.
It means you wouldn't understand why it has demons in it. Rebirth of the Goddess. It could also be translated as Reincarnation of the Goddess. Don't yell at me, internet fanboys.
Is this a known game or is it
Oh,
like
yeah.
super obscure?
No, it's a known game. Big enough to have huge spin-offs. Spin-offs that might be even bigger than it now.
Rebirth of the Goddess.
Rebirth of the God.
But you guys have not played the spin-off either, so you wouldn't understand that there are a lot of demons in it. This is a tough one. I think the other one's easier, but I want to start with this one.
What was the first word you used instead of rebirth?
Reincarnation.
Reincarnation.
Yeah. It could be either rebirth or reincarnation. This is translated from Japanese to English.
Oh my god.
I can give one hint that should give it to you immediately, no matter how confused you look right now. A little tiny hint. A little tiny... We've talked about it in this show.
Oh, it's going to be Shin Megami Tensei.
Correct. It is Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh god.
See? What does that mean? Don't know. Means rebirth of the goddess or reincarnation, apparently.
Okay.
And the
That's
last
brutal,
one
Jesse.
is a game you have played. You've played a lot of them. It is one word.
Halo.
It is no. It is also translated from Japanese to English. It is Iron Fist. One word. Iron Fist. Sik and Mechanico.
Hazarding a guess here, Tekken.
Correct. Well done.
That was a good game. That was a good game.
Thank you.
I fear it's fracturing our tenuous friendship ever further.
Okay, now the music's just gonna... Let me try and fade this music out.
Probably.
Maybe for the comfort of all parties, we start wearing like blindfolds. Just full on, pull a balaclava down.
I might be able to
Space bar
just
for the
put
buzzing.
chat into emote mode, but I like them guessing because it makes me realize how much smarter they are than you.
Fair. Oh, GG's.
They all got
Natalie,
Tekken right
keep
off
an
the
eye out on
bat.
your DMs. Keep an eye out on your DMs.
Yeah, the last two people who have won who have
forums.
not responded to me, including good old Collingwood. So, I mean, I've
Really?
DM'd you guys lists. Some of those games are
Did
probably
you DM
gone
good
now.
old Collingwood on the forum?
Yep. Not a response.
Wow, really?
Maybe people don't understand how the DMs work. I don't know. But I've DM'd a couple people.
But
No responses.
good old Collingwood has DM'd me before
Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't like
on
me.
the forum.
I'm just going to take it as a personal attack.
That's weird. Okay. Well,
game.
Medusa. Will have a code coming your way.
because you're an XboxEra patron, which is a wonderful time for me to talk about how wonderful our patrons are. And you too, dear viewer / listener, can become one by visiting patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool merch, you get nice sticker things, you get a cool tag on the forum. You can annoy me and
Putting
Nick with a
John
question.
on the spot right now. When are we doing the movie podcast?
We are going to do the movie podcast
Is that going to be once a
on-
month or
once a month.
fortnightly?
Once a
on
month.
the third Friday of every month.
So a Saturday morning for me.
Yeah, you cool with that?
Yep.
I don't think it'll be anywhere near
Okay.
as long as this. It will go live. It'll be
Don't be
won't-
surprised if it goes longer.
No. We're gonna have a hard.
Don't be
hard
surprised.
doesn't matter.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
I
God,
found a
Nick never
streaming
shuts up.
service for Gross Point Blank, by the way.
Did you? And did you watch it?
Yeah. Not yet.
Ah,
I need to watch it.
right.
You
Well,
realize
okay,
the third
Fri-
Friday of every month was yesterday for this month.
Oh well.
Next Friday.
So coming exclusively. No.
Friday
Oh,
the
no,
3rd,
that's
Friday the 10th,
fourth
Friday the 17th. Yeah, what the?
What do you
I'm
think
looking-
I was
staring
doing?
at a
That was-
calendar, man.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just looking. I was like, I got confused.
We could,
Um,
if this one's off that schedule, fine. But otherwise, third Friday.
No.
But we'll see.
I want to point something out before we go to community questions. Something that else that bothers me about the Xbox Elite controller versus the PlayStation Edge controller. So
That's an interesting tangent you have there. Please tell me more.
so my controllers don't get dusty sitting over there. I now keep them in their cases. Now, if you have a look at the PlayStation Edge case, which is a very, very premium feeling.
Yeah, they didn't
Hard
have to spend much
case.
on a battery, so they were able to make it look real nice.
Yeah, all the money they saved on the shitty battery. So that's the Edge controller. Very premium, heavy.
Looks-
And look, I don't even have to zip it up. It just goes boop, and it clunks closed. So I don't have to sit there zipping and unzipping every time I want to use this controller. I just open that lid, take it out, use it, put it back. The Elite controller. The cheapest made expensive controller going around. Look how it sits.
Oh, it bugs me. It really bugs
Oh my
me.
God. Look at it. Close. Watch this. I push it down. And like, no matter what I take out, if I take it, the only way I can get it to kind of stay closed is I got to take out this thing. And then I got to take away the paddles. All right, take them off. Put it back. Now it kind of closes a bit better,
No,
but not
it's still
really.
terrible.
Like, it's just... Why did they cheap out on this thing so badly? Like, I'm hoping now that Sony has their own and they have some competition in this space. They're like, hey, we probably need to like actually put some money into this controller.
Sure would be nice. Would be swell.
Like, seriously, man. This thing just feels cheap now compared to that. Like, I know the battery life is like great in comparison, but this whole package now just feels cheap next to this.
I mean, it is
Just
a lot
does.
cheaper.
It is, but it feels it. Like, I love that this hard case. It's great. It's so good.
Anyway, thank you for Nick for that.
The crap from me, and I wanted to bring it up.
You took us on. It was wonderful. But yeah, seriously, Patreon. We love you guys. We've got some cool stuff coming for you guys this year as well. Thank you for your support. It's what helps us do what we got to do. This is where the podcast just goes off the rails. Off the rails. Anyway, as
Tell you,
part,
that movie podcast is going to go for like 4 hours. I'm telling you now.
I'm telling you right now, it's not.
I'm telling you now, it's going to go for 4 hours.
It ain't happening. Oh God. Yeah, it's time for community questions, which is a perk for all of our patrons. They get to annoy Nick and I with some questions. Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're horrifically long. They're always there.
There's only 5.
Wow.
Amazing.
We still did a 2-hour podcast, bro. Still 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. And good old Collingwood's in here, Jesse. So he's been on the forum.
I know. He just doesn't want a free game.
It's weird. Anyway, first question. Jesse, brother. Hello all. Jess, just want to say your preview of I assume he's meant to say Exoprimal, looks very good. And Remnant 2's trailer looks good. Between those and Diablo 4, we got good co-op and PvE stuff on the way. Party animals. And John, I second your enthusiasm. I assume he's meant to say enthusiasm for films like The Shawshank Redemption, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Grosse Pointe Blank, and would suggest Jojo Rabbit for the movie podcast. That I've seen. But I don't see it streaming anywhere. Though this one is on HBO, and that is the Grand Budapest Hotel. If either of you gents have not seen that film, I can't recommend it enough. Cheers. I have not seen the Grand Budapest Hotel. I have not seen it. Isn't that how you pronounce it? Budapest?
Well, there's that really annoying joke in the Avengers movies. Oh, it's just like Budapest. And then they have that conversation. There's a whole line in this is turning into movie podcast. I agree with you, Travis. They are. I think. I can't remember if it might have been Matt Damon who was talking about making Good Will Hunting. But if you think about cinema nowadays, no one goes to the cinema anymore to watch films that are very, very drama-esque. Right?
It's the blockbusters. It's the action
just
blockbusters.
all the summer blockbuster bullshit, right?
God, I want to see 65 so bad.
This is why I like streaming services, because they do get to do some of these more. Like I watched The Father on Netflix. If you haven't seen that, Travis, watch it, man. It's heartbreaking.
But don't you think it's a byproduct of how expensive it is to go to the movies? Because I used to go to the movies for just about every movie. I saw an indie Australian movie at the cinema called Idle Hands, Heath Ledger's first movie. I saw that at the cinema because back then it didn't cost me $3,000 to go to the cinema.
I literally had that conversation, right? Girlfriend and I were chatting about what should we go see something? Like we had an evening, and I was like, 65 isn't out yet. And as much as it's kind of been panned in reviews, you know, it's got some set
I wanna
pieces
see
that
it.
feels like a cinema film. She was like, "Oh, Cocaine
Correct.
Bear's out," and I'm like, "Cocaine Bear is not a cinema film for me. Like, I want to see
No.
Cocaine Bear very badly,
So do I.
but not at the tune of like 40 quid for the night." You know, like, and that's the reality.
John Wick 4 is out.
Now that is a film I will go to the cinema to see.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
like I've watched a lot
John
of
Wick
behind the
4.
scenes stuff. It looks
Ah.
so freaking good. That's got to be the
they're
subject
good
of our movie.
movies.
I will go see John Wick 4 over the next month. Like I will go and see it.
I'll go see it too.
And that will be the first episode. John Wick 4 and Gross Point Blank, both assassins. So
What
perfect.
about Very Bad Things? We talked about Very Bad Things.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it. So Very Bad Things will do the next one because those are thematically similar, right? Gross Point Blank is
Okay.
about an assassin. John Wick
Okay.
is about an assassin, and we can talk about that. And then next episode we'll do Very Bad Things is the classic I've got to go watch that I haven't seen that you love. And then we'll hopefully have another movie
All right,
to
so
try
we're
that
planting
one.
our flag for the third Friday of flipping April.
Yes. Yeah.
Almost a month after John Wick 4 has come out.
All right. For that episode.
Mario movie.
Yeah, we can go do that as well.
I don't think
seeing
setting a straight date might be tough if we're going to do new movies because you want to do them close to the new movie coming out.
All right. Well, how about it airs? John Wick 4 opens up in the UK on the 24th.
Yeah, so the
Mark?
next week would probably be good.
So would the 31st, the Friday the 31st, be okay with you for a movie podcast night?
Probably.
Okay, done. Sold.
Probably.
Okay.
And if people want to be able to access that, they've got to be $3 or above on the Patreon or a YouTube member. Both will get access to that podcast, which will always be exclusive for those people.
There you go.
All right. We took way too long answering that question. Now,
We went on a tangent.
Hytham G. I bet you gents celebrated St. Patrick's Day from yesterday and had corned beef and cabbage and drunk some green Guinness for you gents that are Irish and non-Irish and wire green and made sure you guys don't get pinched if all of you weren't wearing green. But did you guys celebrate it from yesterday, gents? I don't drink,
No.
dude.
No,
So
do
I
I?
forget. I always forget St. Patrick's Day is happening because I don't drink.
Yeah, literally don't
Um,
care. I don't celebrate
yeah.
any days.
Yeah. I mean, I
Not
barely
even your
celebrate
kids'
stuff like
birthdays.
Valentine's
them.
Day and stuff like that. Like, I don't. And I definitely wouldn't celebrate a day that's purely designed for people to get pissed. Just get absolutely para.
Yeah.
It's
It's not my jam.
I don't drink. And by the way, my non-drinking, it's not a moral thing. It's not like, oh, I'm above drinking. I'm too good for you. For me, it's purely taste. Here's another challenge I'm going to send out. If someone can recommend, now remember, I am a great white shark when it comes to alcohol. And you might say, what the F is he talking about? You know how sharks can smell blood in the water like 3 kilometers away?
Yeah.
I'm like that with alcohol in a drink.
Okay.
You can put 1 drop in there, I'll taste it. So if someone can recommend me an alcoholic drink where I will not be able to taste the alcohol, and don't go by your standards, because you get pissed as a fart every weekend and you can barely taste the alcohol and everything. Remember, great white shark. I will drink it. It's a
Seagram
taste
breezes.
thing. It's not a moral thing. Like, the only thing that I drink that's quote unquote alcoholic is lemon, lime, and bitters. That's it.
Do you have
The irony of
Tizer?
that. Sorry.
Do you have not Tizer, Iron Brew? Have you heard of Iron Brew? So it's a Scottish kind of, I don't even know what flavor it is. It's got its own unique flavor, but it's a really bright orange Scottish drink. They're very proud of it. Now, I was at a restaurant a couple of months back and I had a blood orange flavored Copperberg, which is a cider.
Okay.
And I was like, what is this? It tasted really strange, right? It was like really weak, but not weak, like unpleasant, like very subtle. That's the word I'm looking for. Subtle blood orange taste. Now, could I say that you could taste? I don't drink, right, particularly as a rule, and I don't really like alcohol as a general rule. I don't drink because it completely destroys my kidneys. So I'd rather not die. But I can enjoy the occasional one
What a
socially, right? But
baby.
this drink really surprised me. It was really tasty, and it reminded me very strongly after lots of perplexed. What does this remind me
Iron
of?
brew.
Urn brew. Urn brew.
Oh, Urn brew.
IRNBRU. Urn brew.
Because like my wife and I went out for anniversary last year, and I was like, you know what, bugger it. It's their anniversary. I'll have an alcoholic drink. So I was going through the list at this restaurant, and I was like, ooh, lychee martini, because I love lychees. Lychees are like one of the greatest fruits ever. So I'm like, I'll have a lychee martini. Now, clearly, whoever made this lychee martini didn't do something correct. So I have this sip of lychee martini, right? And all I can taste is lychee. I was like, oh, I've done it. I've discovered my alcoholic drink that I can have and get absolutely smashed on that I like the taste of. Lychee martini. I'm like, awesome. Second sip.
Uh-oh.
Straight up alcohol right down my throat. Like all I could taste was the alcohol. And I'm like, did this person not mix this? Like, oh my God.
Clearly not.
You know what? Like, if you have something that has just been filtered, like that's the main difference between shitty and good vodkas is they just literally just filter it to remove some of the shitty taste. You have something like a Bahama Mama, which is just pineapple, orange, crushed ice, and you got like a coconut flavored rum and a little bit of strong rum. And then if you get the right amount of grenadine syrup in there, it just tastes like a sugary confection dessert drink.
Yeah,
It always will come down to how people make it.
The challenge is out there. Just remember that I am a shark.
If we go to LA, I'll make you a Bahama Mama or a mojito, and we'll see.
I can taste that. If we end up going together to E3 and we stay at that porn place,
lads.
Yeah. If we stay at that porn recording place in LA, then you guys, it's up to you two to discover a drink for me to have that I can't taste the alcohol in the porn joint.
What a name on this super chat.
I know. Master Queef. Oh, Christ.
Okay. That's funny. All right. That's another tangent we went on. Super chat, Master Queef. What does Xbox need to do to become market leader? They need to make COD exclusive. That's what they need to do. Lock down all of ABK's content and they will become the market leader pretty much within 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. They would become the market leader.
Hey, only 3% of respondents to the YouGov survey said they'd switch.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, how could we forget that?
That PlayStation loyalty runs deep. Hytham G had a second part. PS Ramadan is coming soon on the 22nd.
Yeah.
And then those who wished me an early happy Ramadan, shukran, which is thank you in Arabic, and in case you want to know what is your welcome, is ahlan. Well, happy Ramadan. Enjoy.
I've been taught different Arabic words to that I'm not allowed to say on there.
Fair.
My Lebanese friends have taught me other words that I should not say.
I'm your Lebanese friend.
In high school, all my Lebo friends used to just teach me to swear. That's all. Yes. And that's what Carlos and Jason teach me to do. They just teach me to swear. So I shouldn't swear in Lebanese. Apparently, my name is a swear word in Lebanese, which I found out. My name, Nick, is a swear word.
Oh.
How cool is that?
What does it mean?
F.
Huh.
The F word. Apparently.
Wow.
How good's that? It's great.
Cool.
Lebanese is the best. Okay. Ben Angelo. What's going on, John, Nick, and Jesse? I love the show. I try to watch every week live. I'm in New Zealand. It's the middle of the day on Sundays when the episodes come out. So it's sometimes hard to watch, but I always catch up on Spotify. My question is, did Nick miss a Rumourmill from episode 150 that he was going to share in episode 151 but didn't? And can you please get one of you to message me on the
Oh,
forums as I'd
no.
like to contribute to Nick's plane ticket to E3. I want to see you all together.
This is where we all say
Wow.
that's incredibly kind of you, but we can't. And Nick's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, like no,
Ah.
Ben, don't. If Nick,
But what if
messages
Ben's
you,
rich?
Ben, I don't care if Ben's rich.
What if Ben's rich?
I
And it's
can't
like
take
nothing
him.
for him.
You can sign up for the Patreon like 30 times.
He can send a super chat that funds it.
No,
Like-
they take half. Fuck super chats.
Okay, maybe not that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Nick, just send him.
Well,
DM him
Ben,
your.
I've got
PayPal.
tips on Twitter. Send me a tip on Twitter.
Just DM him your PayPal. There you go.
Ben, don't
But no,
accept
you
any
don't
DMs
have
from
to.
Nick.
Unless Ben, unless you are like wealthy enough where it's not a problem, then no, you don't have to. But if you're really wealthy where it's not going to bother you, then go for it. Like Hargeet Chani, who's really wealthy and should be buying me Resident Evil 4.
Will you
You
stop?
have the
Will
game.
you stop
You've
this?
mostly beaten the game. You don't need. Shut up.
When it goes on sale, I'm going to buy it.
He needs to be stopped. He needs to be stopped.
I
Jesse, you
I
need to-
specifically set it up in a way that gave you access to it.
I
Just
know,
to save hard.
But I like owning. Ugh.
God,
And it's
You
even
don't own
better
anything
when I get it
digital.
as a present. It's even better. Look at Ray Oid. I still say thank you to Ray Oid for Dead Space. My appreciation never ends.
10 out of 10 on XboxEra Dead Space. One of the few 10s I've given. There was like 3 or 4.
I mean, you're lucky I love Dead Space, but I still don't agree with a 10 out of 10 for Dead Space.
Gave Immortality a 10 as well. God, that was so good.
yeah, that was a really great game.
I
An
swear, when
incredible
Super Mario
experience.
Odyssey, when Super Mario Odyssey 2 comes out,
6.5.
I'm reviewing it. I'm reviewing it.
We don't review.
It's going to get an 11. It's going to be the
only
first 11
games.
in the history of reviews.
We are reviewing 2. We have reviewed 2 games that are not on Xbox at all. Well, I did Forspoken, but Genghis has done Theater Rhythm Line, the Final Fantasy game on. I got it for him on PS5. He really wanted to play it. He did written only, and he's now doing that Atelier Ryza 3 game, which again is not on Xbox. And I do have a contact at Nintendo, but you can't have it, Nick. I'm sorry.
Why?
Because I asked for a code for.
But
Tears
I'm
of
the
Kingdom so I could
Nintendo
stream it.
guy.
Yet I'm going to be the one streaming Tears of the Kingdom when it
But
comes out.
I'm
Thanks to
the
Nintendo.
Nintendo guy. So why would I not get those codes?
Because you got money.
Oh yeah, okay. That's why I'm begging everyone else to buy me games.
You buy your wife like a $5,000 goddamn
That's
Apple
for
Mac.
her work. That is for her
Mhm.
work. I want her to have the best possible
Obviously,
computer
that
for her
means
to do
that
her
she
work.
makes money, unlike me on this site. No, I'm kidding.
We are available for children's parties, by the way. Just call us up.
I'm with you, Gary.
Hi, Fame.
Anyway.
Fame's here. Level 1 game.
Oh,
You've been going a lot, Nick. It's very loud.
Have I?
he does do that.
Yeah.
sorry, I
I
haven't
do it a
even
lot
noticed.
too. I got to
Sorry.
catch myself when I'm recording.
But did you miss a rumor mill from episode 150 that you were going to share in episode 151? I don't recall
I
that.
don't remember. I don't remember that either.
There's
You're
no
gonna have to
way
go
we
back
will
and
be able to
listen.
remember.
Yeah.
I don't
'Cause
remember.
even if he did, it's normally something we talked about before the show, and none of us are going to have any idea.
Yeah, probably. But yeah,
Yeah.
don't
Super
don't
Mario
accept
Odyssey
any
2.
DMs.
Super Mario Odyssey 2, that will 1000% be it. Like, because Galaxy 2 was better than Galaxy 1. So
Stop.
if we follow that
Can you mute
train
this
of
one?
logic,
So from a
Super
6.5
Mario-
to a 7.
so Super Mario Odyssey 2 has no choice but to be
Next
an 11
question
out of
from
10.
good old Collingwood, the guy who's been ignoring
Good
me.
old Collingwood. Happy Ides of March, John, Nick, and Jesse. So, Friday was St. Patrick's Day. It's also the feast day for Saint Gertrude of Nivelle. What are all these words? Who, among other things, is the unofficial patron saint of cats. She obviously was not at the Melbourne Cricket Ground because that's who we beat. We beat the cats. I hope Nick's kid had a fun night out. He did not go. And the iPad didn't have to be taken out. No, he didn't go, mate. We asked him. I got home from work and I was like, hey, buddy, you going to come to the footy with me? He's like, no, I'm going to stay home and play Xbox. I was like, come on, come to the footy. Papu's going. Like my dad, his grandfather. I'm like, Papu's going. Uncle Chris is going. We're all going. Let's go. He's like, nah, I'm going to stay home and play Rocket League. I was secretly a little bit happy, but like I also wanted him to come to the footy. So we had a big game. Get a new season. It's got a lot of new play modes, maps, and the trailer has a great new event that everyone is excited about. This game is a game that launched bare bones, but looks like it has turned a corner. I am talking, of course, of Sea of Thieves. John, has the new season got you wanting to sail the seven seas again?
No. Let me caveat. I haven't actually paid attention to season 9, and the problem is Sea of Thieves is being developed in a direction that doesn't tickle my fancy, particularly. Like I want more Shores of Gold and less role-play sandboxy stuff. Like I love the game, and it's got an incredibly special place in my heart. It provided the best gaming experience of my entire life with Shores of Gold ever. Played a lot of games, but that in co-op with friends was just so unique and so special that the bar has been set so high now that every time we jump back in, we're just like, oh, it's just the same gameplay loop. It's just, I've ground it to death. It would take a big update. It would take a Sea of Thieves 2. It would take a brand new ship with like 6 people in the crew, or it would take allowing for private servers for everybody so I can just play with friends and do challenges and silly party games. But no, not right now. There's too much other stuff coming out now. It's had its time. I would just be beating the horse trying to get my crew to get back together and play again.
It really feels like they have moved on to Everwild. And it's a continuation crew working on Sea of Thieves, but I think the main focus now is Everwild.
Yeah. And I can see it. There's a lovely debate about Breath of the Wild going on in the chat, and I just feel inclined to comment. The whole weapon breaking thing, I wouldn't give a shit if I had 1,000 sticks and my stick broke. Just swap me to the same freaking stick, all right? But don't make me open up a freaking menu and swap to the weapon that I want to use. It's then going to break on me. It's just irritating, and it's
by far the worst thing about. I love Breath of the Wild, but it's by far the worst thing about it.
And I know, like the arguments are, it's like ammo, and like fine, I get that. It's kind of like you want to make it like ammo, but I don't have to go into my menu to change ammo.
No, I don't. I hate it.
Well, I mean, unless
I hate the weapon breaking. I hate the weapon breaking. It's the worst. For me, it is the worst thing about Breath of the Wild.
The fact that the Master Sword could still technically be unusable for long periods of time. Oh my god. That I do.
I don't understand.
It's way better than Mario Odyssey.
What?
I do like the game. I don't hate it. It's way better than Mario Odyssey.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No way. There's almost nothing better than Super Mario Odyssey. Almost nothing. I legitimately want to go play that game again. It's so good.
I'm going to play it, and I'm going to come back next weekend with a verdict on Mario Odyssey.
It's so
Are you ready
good.
to see Peach as a damsel in distress once again?
Yes, I am.
God, this game actually takes that aspect to a really weirdly, not misogynistic, but like a weirdly old school level in a very odd way. That was actually the one thing in that game that made me...
Can't be perfect then. You for 1 second weren't with it, means it's not a 10 out of 10 perfect.
What do you mean? That's just the stupid story thing, and I don't care about story in games. Haha, see? Mr. Consistent. You're never going to catch me on that.
Consistently dumb. I mean...
I skipped the cutscenes. In it.
The fact that you admit that so quickly and willingly will never not confound me.
Why? It's a video game. It's not a movie. I'm not there to watch movies. I'm there to play a game. I don't know why that logic confounds people when it's the most logical thing there is. I'm playing a video game. If I want to watch a movie, I'm about to obviously watch Grosse Point Blank. I'll go watch a movie. I'm not there to watch movies. I'm there to play games.
Gameplay is king.
And a good story and great cutscenes can elevate it all. The whole experience.
Yep. A good story can make things a bit better, but it doesn't bother me enough.
Now,
Okay.
sacrificing gameplay for cutscenes and story, yes, absolutely. The worst don't do that. But really good
Yeah,
cutscene and stories only
like a
help.
certain platform sometimes does.
Yeah.
Platform X.
Sorry, Nintendo.
Okay. 99 Rukin, last question. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day. Have you guys been paying attention to the news and everything with how the US might ban TikTok unless the owner sells his stake? My question is, if the government told Tencent to sell American companies, who would buy who? Shouldn't that be who would buy whom? My pick would be Microsoft buying Riot Games. Who do you guys pick? What's this about TikTok?
This is weird because I swear this was a thing last year or years ago now with
When
Trump.
Microsoft was going to buy
Yeah, and Microsoft were considering it because it
for
it gives them
$100 billion.
loads of cash, but it fell through. But now apparently it's back on the table, and that's new news to me. I didn't see that this week. But it's I don't know who would I. Tencent to sell American companies. Well, I don't even know what Tencent own.
Yeah, what does Tencent own that's American?
I can't answer the question. Typically, to be honest, like
Capcom.
do they own Capcom? Sega.
I just wanted to buy Capcom.
I don't know.
I don't know what American companies Tencent owns.
Yeah, I can't answer
The main
question.
TikTok thing is that the U.S. government is banning its use on government-controlled electronics because they don't trust the Chinese government.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Why would you be using TikTok on your freaking
At work
phone?
Yeah,
Like, get out of
probably
here.
shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, like
On your
and-
sensitive government work phone.
I just watched whilst we were talking there the season 9 trailer for Sea of Thieves, and I'm just like, oh, they've made everything easier, and the gameplay loop is still the same. There's nothing new. Meh. So there you go.
Okay.
That's an extra affirmative answer to good old
Does
Collingwood.
the Sea of Thieves play any better?
No, they haven't changed the gunplay. They just
Then I'm out.
more cosmetics, more the ship
I'm out.
combat is still the absolute bee's knees. But don't worry, guys. Skull and Bones is coming soon. It's going to blow it out of the water. But that's it, chat. That's it. It's the end of the show. We've answered all the questions to the best of our ability. We've done the rumor mills. We've answered weird cryptic name a game puzzles. We've talked through the news of ABK and everything else.
And we gave you the terrible name of a new game that's coming.
2K Lego Drivel.
Lego 2K Drive.
Oh. But there you go.
Which will
It's the
now
end.
probably get changed as a result of that.
And for fun, when we started this show, we said, oh, this could be the one. There's not much news. 2.5
Hey, 2.5
hours later.
hours is still pretty short.
That's pretty short for us. I'm looking forward to
Promote
getting
the
bed.
Patreon.
Pretty short.
Bed
Promote the new show coming. New show on the Patreon coming.
New
Sell.
show. So
Sik
yeah,
and
look,
Nick flicks.
serious note. If you guys love what we do, we are an independently owned, do as good a job as some of the big folks out there. Publication / YouTube channel / forum and community. Like, it's a pretty cool place to come out. Like, if you come and use the forum and you're visiting the forum every day, consider if $1 a month is worthwhile to you. If it is, there's 3,000 of you. Do you know what $3,000 dues would be worthwhile to us? Quite a bit. You know, like, help us out. Help us grow.
Help us.
Because we want to
help
take
you.
over the world.
Yep.
And we also want to quit our real jobs and do this for a living.
Yeah.
And on that note,
if you happen to be like a super wealthy person like Tom
in New
Henderson
Zealand.
and not a dick.
and you like our show and you like what we do, wouldn't you love to buy us so that we can do this full time?
No,
Wait,
invest in us.
whoa.
Not
Invest.
You can get like
Yeah,
3%.
invest.
$1 million for 3%.
So that we
Money
can
one.
do this full time and we can bring
Forever.
you more stuff. Yeah, 99 Rukin. I want to do the Nintendo podcast. I've even set up a thing in
I saw
StreamYard
that.
for it.
He does want to do a Nintendo podcast.
Yeah,
You
I
set
do.
up a thing in StreamYard, then I spend 2 weeks making it in OBS.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Why?
Oh, yeah. To make it look nice.
He's good. that
99 Rukin, by the way, 99 Rukin, while you're there, I was actually shocked at how many people reached out to me going, I'll co-host a Nintendo podcast with you. I was like, whoa! There was quite a few people that reached out that were like, hey,
I hope we
I'll
can
do
actually
that
get that
Nintendo
many
podcast
interested
with
in
you.
watching it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you never know. Speak to what's our friends at the Nintendo
Last
forum?
of the Nintendo. Oh no.
No, not those guys.
Yeah.
Come on, help me out. Pipeline. What's it
Oh,
called?
Nintendo Pipeline. Yes, one of those people
Family
from that
boards.
Discord.
Family boards.
Yeah,
Get-
Family Boards and Nintendo Pipeline Discord. One of them reached out to me and said, "Oh, I'll do the Nintendo podcast with you." I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah." It's like, all right, I'll keep that under advisement.
There you go.
I just don't know what it would be. I still don't know what it would be.
Just
Quarterly.
Because
talking about.
because Nintendo's not in the news
No, they're just,
in the way Xbox is, and to a lesser extent PlayStation is. Nintendo doesn't. They're not in the news. So
You know what I think, Nick? I think it would need to be something when they put out a game you want to play. If they have big news, like not a set schedule, just something when there's actually something to
I-
talk about and people are going to be interested.
I could probably do a podcast where just every week, every fortnight, every month, I just talk about Super Mario Odyssey and
Yeah,
how
it's
much
5
I love
years and
Super
thanks our
Mario
channel.
Odyssey
Everyone quits the Patreon.
and play it. Like I've got my capture card here and just hook my Switch up to it and just like have a window and be like playing Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, you
while
go
we
on
talk
Twitch, you
about it and
just
say,
see
"Oh my
people
god, how
streaming
good's this level? How
Switch
good's this
games all
level?"
day long.
Man, called the Super Mario Odyssey unofficial official podcast, powered by XboxEra.
Okay.
For the love of God, please end this.
Yeah,
God,
love
that's
you
the best
guys.
game.
We'll see you
the
all next
best game.
week, as per usual. And until then, stay safe, have fun,
Yep.
play lots of video games, enjoy Diablo, Exoprimal, and everything else
Yep.
on your Xbox console this week. And we'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.